Sports Entertainment presents Southwest Conference football. Today, the 25th ranked Texas Aggies host the Baylor Bears. And a very pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Greg Lucas here along with Ed Biles. A Southwest Conference matchup that pits two teams, each with a defeat. And because of that, this is a crucial battle for these two teams if they have hopes for the Cotton Bowl, it would seem.
Well, it's real simple. Teams with two losses just don't go to the Cotton Bowl. You can see the standings on the screen right now. A&M has a loss and Baylor has a loss. It's a must game. Whoever loses probably won't be a factor in the Southwest Conference race.
These two schools are located about 90 miles apart, and the rivalry is fierce and long. Even though the numbers show the Aggies have a hefty advantage overall, the series has been going since 1899. There have been some memorable games. Big rivalries are always special.
Well, what you get in a rivalry situation, you get intense, hard-nosed football. You also get players who will rise to the occasion. Players will maybe make plays that they might not quite be capable of normally, but they'll make a big play in this type of game.
Big play men. Well, on defense, there are a couple of defensive backs I think we've got to mention. Ed, Mike Welch and Kevin Smith. These guys have been deaf to flying passes, I guess you could say.
Well, they really have. Kevin Smith, of course, on the left, he has 16 career interceptions. He's tied for 5th in the all-time career in Southwest Conference. On the other hand, Mike Welch, he has 14 interceptions. He's tied for 9th. They're only 1 or 2 away from being leaders in the interception. Both of them will be around the football today.
Some would say that if the Aggies are smart, they won't tempt Welch, and they'll give it to the big guys, Lewis and Wilson, to run it, because that may be the best duo in college football.
Well, take your choice. You want to get hit by a tank or you want to get hit by a bull. That's what you're looking at. Both of them are fine football players. Lewis only 353 yards from being the all-time rushing leader in Southwest Conference. Wilson, a great lead blocker.
Yeah, if they kept the statistic for top lead blockers for top rushers, Wilson might be in the #1 spot in that category. You stay with us. We're going to have the kickoff, all the action from our game today here in College Station right after we pause for this timeout. Back at Kyle Field in College Station. Greg Lucas here along with Ed Biles. We are just about set for football. The Texas A&M Aggies and the Baylor Bears. It is a beautiful afternoon as the game gets underway. A little on the breezy side, as you can see. That is right to left as we view it. About 16 miles an hour under 78-degree temperatures, 59% relative humidity, and partly sunny or mostly sunny skies. What a beautiful afternoon it is for football here at College Station.
Yeah, that wind will be a little bit of a factor when they're trying to punt into that wind.
Our officials today, the veterans, the referee Frank Shepard, Bill Anger the umpire, the linesman Richard Wittenberg, line judge Ron Underwood, field judge Rogers Redding, side judge Bill McClure, and the back judge Ron Murphy. Our coaches, well, a couple of veterans in 2 different ways. Grant Taft, the dean of the Southwest Conference, the head coach at Baylor. This is his 19th season at Baylor, 110, 95, and 5 overall, and 152, 141, and 7 at Baylor. And he has had some great teams and some great players. A number of running backs have made their name in the National Football League, and a number of teams that have been something to be proud of. The veteran coach has a couple of assistants that have been with him almost that long. R.C. Slocum, we say a veteran also, not as a head coach, but he's been an assistant for many years, 16 of them here at Texas A&M. This is his 2nd year with the Aggies, and his record is 12-6.
And I'll guarantee you one thing, Greg, both coaches know the importance of this particular football game today. Most important one of the year, because the team that loses, again, with this Southwest Conference situation, 2 losses, no one has ever represented the conference in the Cotton Bowl.
The series record is one-sided. The Aggies have won the last 4. Of course, the Aggies have been on a roll. Jeff Ireland will be kicking off. We will get this underway. Baylor kicking off to Texas A&M, right to left. So Baylor will have the wind at its back, and a good chance that this ball will not be returned with that strong wind that we pointed out, 16 miles an hour, almost due left to right, or right to left, I should say, as you view the field from the 50-yard line press box location. So it will be unlikely this one's going to be returned, but Ireland will put it in the air, and Cornelius Patterson and Shane Garrett will be back just in case. Garrett, number 80, and Cornelius Patterson, number 14. He's on the top of the screen, out of the shot, as we're just about set to get football underway from College Station. He's banged down at about the 27-yard line. Shane Garrett with the return on the opening kickoff, and that's where the Aggies will put the ball in play. Lachey Maston making the stop, and so the Aggies will have decent field position, a situation they might not have expected. They gained about 7 extra yards, and Bucky Richardson will draw the start at quarterback. There'd been some question earlier in the week whether it would be Pavlis or Richardson. Richardson off his 241-yard performance versus Houston. The only real problem, he threw a few too many interceptions. That was a factor in the football game. He's got that powerful backfield of Wilson and Lewis behind him. Naked reverse by the quarterback as he runs out of bounds after a pickup of perhaps 3 up to the 30-yard line. Here's that backfield and the receiver lineup. Wilson and Lewis we talked about. The receivers are Garrett, Oliver, and Ransom.
Well, Garrett's a big play receiver. Run that 4-4. He'll make a lot of speedy big plays for the Aggies.
The offensive line, Wesley in for the injured Rocco, Pappas, Arthur, Alex, and McCall.
Well, Mike Arthur making his 31st straight start, all Southwest Conference 2 years in a row.
2nd down and 8. Lewis on the give. He's got the first down across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Lewis picks up about 12 on the play on his first carry. Mike Welch, we talked about him. He has to come in from his free safety to make the stop.
Well, just straight lead play. Wilson does a good lead block in there. There's a big opening. You can see Lewis going straight ahead almost until he gets to the safety. Wrapped up, and of course, big first down, start of the series for the Aggies.
Ball on the 42-yard line. Single running back is Wilson. Possibly a play change. Short drop. Incomplete. That was intended for Oliver. Here's the defensive line for the Baylor Bears. They'll be tested today. Robin Jones, Marcus Lowe, Reggie Howard, and Santana Dotson.
Well, Dotson, 258-pounder, all Southwest Conference last year.
And the linebackers are Curtis Hafford, Lee Bruder, and Brian Hant. Hafford having a good year.
Well, Hafford's their leading tackler last year, and he's their leading tackler so far this year.
Secondary has Bell, McFarland, Welch, and Malcolm Frank.
Well, Welch, a lot of folks compare him to Van McElroy, the fine player from Baylor, would come all-pro.
2nd and 10. The give is to Lewis, and he slips and falls right at the line of scrimmage. Looks like he tried to juke his way out of his own shoes.
Well, he couldn't make his mind whether he wanted to go to the right hole or to the left hole. There were 2 big holes there. He saw both of them open up, and the little bit of indecision, I think his cleats caught underneath him. You see him throw his hands up.
And so the Bears have come up with something.
Watch him now. Watch when he gets up there. He can go either way, and he thinks about it for a second, whether to go right or whether to go left. Now that foot just come out from underneath him. There was a opening to both sides of the line.
One leg went left, the other one went right. The Bears have discovered that's it. Give him 2 holes. 3rd down and 10. Richardson rolls. He can turn the corner. He's banged out just shy of the 50-yard line. It'll be short of the first down as Welch and McFarland ran him out at about the 49-yard line, so the Aggies will have to give the ball up. And Sean Wilson will come in to punt. He'll get the kick away from right around his own 40-yard line.
He's averaging 42 yards per punt, so if he does that, the ball should wind up on the 8-yard line down there, Greg.
Now, that would be a good one. He'd take it.
Which is working against the wind now.
And the kick is going to be way short. He wants to get a good roll. He's going to get a good roll inside the 20-yard line down to about the 11, and that's where it's going to stop.
Boy, I missed it by 3 yards.
He got it to the 11, and that's where the Bears will put the ball in play, first down.
That was a 40-yard punt. He needed 2.5 more for his average.
The quarterback is J.J. Joe, a freshman redshirt from Arlington Lamar. Of course, Brad Gable out with a broken bone, probably out for the year in his career. Joe in to run the veer. Completion percentage is good. He's very speedy and very quick, shifty. 6 feet tall, 182 pounds. The pitch is to the tailback, and that's Rafael, and he gets across the 20-yard line to about the 22. Coriat, you see, in on that tackle, along with Larry Horton. Here are the backs and receivers. David Loeb, number 32, Eldwin Raphael, Steve Stutzman, Greg Anderson, and Alonzo Pierce.
Well, Raphael's averaging 4.5, scored 2 touchdowns, number 5 on Baylor's all-time rushing list.
The offensive line, Adam Arroyo, Big John Turnpaw, Scott Bayron, Monty Jones, and Matt Gant.
Turnbull, 312-pounders, been all Southwest Conference last year.
That's down from about 330 pounds I formation in the fullback spot is low, but there's Raphael and his average for the year. He'll take the carry. And he has the first down across the 30 or 25-yard line, I should say, to about the 27. Frazier and Larry Horton teaming up on the stop. First down of the game for Baylor. Defensively for the Aggies, the defensive line, Jason Black, John Miller, and Albert Jones.
Well, Black has to have a fine game trying to stop this running game today.
And the linebackers, always the strength with A&M. Tyrone Malone, Anthony Williams, Quentin Coriat, and William Thomas.
But when the ball's running from tackle to tackle, Coriat will have to be very active. He's a physical player, should make a lot of tackles.
Defensive backs might not be tested with a lot of passes, but they're good. Kevin Smith, Crooms, Horton, and Frazier.
Smith is outstanding, as we talked about in the pregame show.
On the first down. Joe going to test it here. He tries to loop it up, and it is complete across the 30-yard line. Larry Horton with the tackle on Mike McKenzie, the big Y-back, who would be a tight end to you or me, but they call him the Y-back.
Well, they've come out using two tight ends here early to help a little bit blocking against the rushing A&M linebackers. That's a good job of catching the ball on McKenzie. Of course, watch Joe get hit here after he releases the ball. Boom, right there. That's one of the reasons they've got two tight ends in the offense right now.
It's a 2nd down and 2. The ball just shy of the 35-yard line. Miles in motion. And not making it is David Mims. As he tried to turn the corner, Kevin Smith ran him out.
Well, they tried to run a power sweep into the short side. The ball was on the right hash mark. Not much running room over there. Apparently thought maybe A&M would be slanting and moving to the wide side, but they just slid right down the line and made a good play defensively.
Kevin Smith out of West Orange Stark. As you take a look at quarterback J.J. Joe from Arlington Lamar. The play comes in from Greg Anderson, the senior wide receiver. And the Baylor Bears fired up. 3rd down and 1. False start on the line, and that's going to move him back. That appeared to be number 72, Big John Turnfall.
Well, you can see they're going to go straight ahead. He's trying to get a little bit of start there. Almost down in a 4-point stance to get that good underneath so he can blow somebody out. Just a little too anxious early in the game.
So that'll make it a 3rd and 6. The ball back at the 31-yard line. If you just joined us, no score in the game. We've got 11:41 to go in the opening period. The Aggies got the ball as far as midfield, had to punt. And now Baylor on its first possession, faced with a 3rd down and a long 6. He's got a man, Anderson, for the first down at the 45-yard line. Greg Anderson, the 5'10", 165-pound senior, sneaks out from his Z-back spot.
Of course, J.J. Joe sprinting out to his left, which is a difficult time. Delivers the ball on a turn-in pattern down there. Ball is completed, of course, and that was a big first down, big 3rd down possession play for Baylor.
There you see Anderson. He's the Odessa Permian senior. Missed half of 88 with an ankle injury. He has now caught 17 passes this year with the one he just caught. And Joe on the keep. Spins across the 50 and runs out of bounds into Aggie territory at the 47 or 8-yard line. It'll be a pickup of about 8. Derek Frazier is in along with Coriat.
Doing a good job running the option here play. But one thing he's doing is carrying that ball very loosely. When he gets the ball out here loosely, right at the end of the play, he gets hit and that ball fumbles and goes out of bounds. Right here, the ball flips out. You can't see it. He's got to protect that ball a little better now, or he's going to have some turnovers today.
2nd down and 1 for the Bears, who are coming off a big victory over SMU, scoring over 50 points. They're 2-1 in conference play. The give for the first down to Raphael as Raphael gets across to the 42-yard line. William Thomas, the outside linebacker on that side, brings him down.
Well, the key so far to this drive is the fact that Baylor Bears offensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. Adam Arroyo, Turnbull, Barron, Monty Jones, and Matt Gann are doing an excellent job.
You know, we talked about the long line of running backs from Baylor that have made it in the pros in the last couple of decades. Well, Eldon Raphael is moving right up the list as far as statistics Baylor history are concerned by being consistent. Joe on a short pass and a good booming power move by Robert Strait out of the backfield. And that'll be a pickup of maybe 6 or 7 when they finally spot it.
Well, watch Strait at the end of this play just run over Chris Grooms as he comes up here. Now, Strait was heavily sought after player. Look at him lower that shoulder, bounce off of Grooms, force someone else in there to come to make the tackle. Strait is 6 foot, 230-pound freshman redshirt out of Cuero, Texas.
Only one player in the history of Texas football has rushed for more yards. And that was Ken Hall of the Sugarland, the old Sugarland Express many years ago. Second down. First down. And that was Mims, who has great speed, we might mention. David Mims is a little guy, 5'9", 176 pounds, but he's got speed.
Well, he's averaging 6.3 yards every time he carries the ball, Greg, and they really use a lot of different running backs in there. Watch him turn up here. Even for his size, so watch him lower it. Knows he's going to get hit, but he goes forward for the extra yardage.
He leaves the lineup, and so does Strait. Coming back in is Loeb.
Baylor's got a great drive going right now. Took over on their own 10-yard line, come all the way down to the 27-yard line of A&M.
First down. Anderson wide to the top. Tight end is flanked out, and Joe has nowhere to go. Maybe gains a yard, maybe not. Mark Wheeler with the first contact.
I'm not quite sure whether he missed a handoff in there or whether it was designed for him to keep the ball. It looked like there was daylight between he and the fullback on that play.
And the play alternating coming in. McKenzie leaves the lineup. He's a big tight end type player. And coming in is Lee Miles, who is a split type player. You're talking about not a substitution based on size. 1'6", 255. The other 5'6", 158. Second and 9. Miles in motion. Well, that looked like they tried the same play. And a fumble, and let's see who's got it. William Thomas perhaps made it, or made the contact. Let's see. Well, they're going to say it's going to stay right where it was.
Of course, again, Greg, as I noticed on the first play, when Joe ran the ball, he held it out there loosely. Did the same thing this play. Now, he's a freshman redshirt. He's got to learn to protect that ball a little bit better than what he's done so far early in this football game.
Credit Matt Gant, the right tackle, with the recovery. 12th play of this drive. But it's a big one now. Third down and long. 3rd and 9. Quick pass incomplete. And it'll be 4th down. Now with the wind at the kicker's back, this is hittable. Pressure by Thomas, as he had to really get rid of that one quickly.
Well, Thomas was all over him. Watch him come to fly right up into his face. He didn't have much chance. No wonder he threw the ball poorly. Thomas was right up in his face. He didn't know whether to throw over the top of him, underneath him, side arm, or between his legs. The way Thomas was up in the air.
Now, Jeff Ireland will try this. He has not had a whole lot of opportunities this year. He's just 3 out of 5.
Well, his longest kick this year has been 41-yarder. Of course, he has the wind behind him.
This will be about a 43-yard kick. Back right at 43 yards, left hash. Distance is good, but the kick isn't. And so the Aggies dodge the bullet. The long Baylor drive comes up with no points. And with 8 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the first quarter, we're still scoreless, the Aggies and the Bears. College Station, Kyle Field, Southwest Conference football, Baylor and Texas A&M. The Aggies rank statistically very well in conference play. And look at all of these numbers in their summer running, summer passing, defense. But they still have a 4-2 record. And I know they're very disappointed about last week's loss at Houston. The other loss was a non-conference game at LSU, in which they actually played the worst. That was the worst game they played this year. Last week was just one that they feel got away from them.
Well, they're going to fight last week's loss all season long. They can't afford to lose another one, and the pressure will be on this team every week they go out. They still have to face Texas. They still also have to face Arkansas. And TCU. Don't overlook TCU.
I can't overlook them the way they're playing this year. It is going to be at the 25-yard line, just across the 25. First down for the Aggies. Wilson, the lone running back. And he has the carry, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is all. Robin Jones in from his left end spot. He's a junior from Dallas Hillcrest. First contact and the tackle.
Very difficult, Greg, to run the ball out of a one-back attack. The problem that happens, both those linebackers, all linebackers have only one back to key on, and they can move right with him. Regardless of what type of reverse pivot or front pivot the quarterback uses, those linebackers are flowing right away to the play.
Back to the double running back I formation. Quick drop and the pitch to Lewis. Lewis turns the corner, gets to the 30, to the 35, spinning forward across the 40. It's a first down. It's a pickup of about 12. Robin Jones again making the tackle, but this time a long way from the line of scrimmage.
Boy, that was an impressive run by Lewis after he just gets his hands on the pitch. Now watch the pitch here. The key to this is he gets the ball, he has to reach behind, makes a great decision to cut back. The blockers are out in front. He cuts back now and makes tacklers miss. This is one of the, why he's such a great back. He's starting to make tacklers miss.
All time, he is third. This was coming into the game. You can tack some more yards on there. He's not going to be passing anyone today, but next week, maybe all of them. It is first down. Lewis again on the carry, and he picks up some more. Another first down, 11-yard pickup by Lewis. Malcolm Frank finally tripping him up.
Well, he only needs 353 yards to take the leadership over, Greg. Right now, those are 10 yards a pop. So if he carries it 30, he may do it today.
That's right, the way he's going.
Watch again, the lead block, the offensive line block in there. Nice hole. He jumps up over the pile, which gives him some leverage. Breaks tacklers again with a spinning move, lowers his shoulder and lowers his head. Now he's showing the type of back that everybody predicted him for the Heisman Trophy type candidate.
He's got 37 yards already on 4 carries. It's first down across midfield. Not much on that one to the fullback, Wilson, and Robin Jones again making the stop. Jones in on a lot of plays.
Well, that's kind of a reminder, though, that you've still got the fullback that you have to worry about, that Wilson can carry the ball up in there, and those backers can't just key on Lewis.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to him. Lewis averaging 6 yards a carry, 6.3.
Speaking of keying, our cameramen are keying pretty good right now.
Yeah, they are. They don't even have to watch the field all the time, apparently. 6:45 to go in the first period. No score. Aggies have the ball, second down and 9 on the 48-yard line in Baylor territory. Lewis, nice initial contact and tackle by Lee Bruder, the middle linebacker. He slowed him down, knocked him off his feet just enough.
Well, that's a good play by the sophomore from Klein High School out of Houston, Texas, 225-pounder. He read that well, slipped underneath the blocker, and made the tackle.
He won the starting job in the spring, coming in and not relinquishing it. You know, sometimes you'll see guys win the job in the spring, but then once fall starts, they lose it right again.
And a very tough position for a youngster to play, a freshman or sophomore, because that middle linebacker, a lot of things happening in there. They have to key and look around.
Well, this is the school of Mike Singletary, so they all have to measure up to his memory in the years he wore the Baylor gold and green. Slow action on this play, and Wilson has nowhere to go. That was not played very well, and Robin Jones led the defensive charge with another initial hit.
Well, they were trying to run a draw on third down, figuring that the Baylor might be dropping off. There just wasn't a hole in there. Baylor didn't react to it. There's a handoff. Now he starts one way, realizes there's nothing there. He wants to attempt to make a cutback, but again, you can see the great play by Jones. He was down, got back up, and made the tackle. Great extra effort. That's what we talk about, that intense play on these rivalries.
Fourth down. Here's the punt from Wilson. Another low one. He's trying to cut it through the wind. Is what he's trying to do, but he's making it short. It is mopped and loose. And we're just going to have to wait for him to unpile here. We think Baylor has it, but we will wait and see. It appears Charles Bell, perhaps, way down there on the bottom. And it is Bell, and we'll take a break while the Aggies and the Bears get lined up to start the next series. No score. You can get yourself in real big trouble if you don't handle these.
Well, those low line drivers are really hard. The coaches keep saying to you, don't let it bounce, don't let it bounce, go up there and make the play. And you can see how difficult the bodies that were in front of him. He didn't want to allow the ball to bounce and roll dead inside the 10. Sometimes that happens. You get over aggressive. See if he can take his eyes off the ball. Well, the ball just, if the nose didn't get over, that ball will sail down and come down a little bit quicker than what you anticipate. Nose comes over on top of the ball. Punt goes longer. Nose doesn't get over. It kind of floats back to the punter.
Well, Bell was the man who made the official bobble, and he was just lucky in a way that he kind of ran into Farias Walker because the ball couldn't get away from him.
I think it's a little bit important drive for Baylor, Greg. They had to win this quarter, and there's still 5 minutes to go, but they need to put points on the scoreboard with that win. I think most of the scoring will be done when they're going with the wind at their backs today.
Got a nice sign on the message board. Hello, HSE from Texas A&M. We say hello to Texas A&M. It will be first down. J.J. Joe, 3 out of 4 for 25 in the opening period thus far. Rafael uses his block, cuts inside, but only gains about a yard or two. Raphael brought down by Anthony Williams, the top tackler on the club, with 61 coming into play this afternoon.
There's a good play in here by Derek Frazier, number 3, the cornerback. Now he comes up and plays into the lead blocker. Watch him outside here coming to play. See him hanging on the blocker? He did a good job. He controlled both inside and outside. He needs that inside help to get there to make the play. There he is. Watch number 3, Frazier. Controlling the blocker. He's controlling inside and outside. He has to get help from the inside, but he doesn't allow the runner to get outside.
Meanwhile, back to live action. We got a run going here. As Loeb with his first carry brings it up across the 40-yard line. Brought down by Larry. Make that Straight 23. Robert Straight with his first carry from scrimmage.
Well, just a lead play. He comes straight ahead. Now watch him make a move to the outside. Lift those legs up to go high. Breaks a tackle. Lawrence again makes another player miss. Now you're talking about a 230-pounder freshman redshirt making those type of moves. He is a great football player.
Give him 21 yards.
Look at that. Made a miss there. Shakes a tackler off here. Finally got brought down.
That's his longest run of the year. Prior to that, his longest had been 9. And you can see his average was not Robert Straight type numbers, at least based on his potential. But 21 yards, his longest run. Did he hold it? Yes, excellent catch out on the flat by Steve Stutzman, who is the X-back on this club. Larry Horton on the tackle. The X-back and the Y-back are essentially the same in the sense they're almost tight end type players, aren't they, Ed?
Well, yeah, they usually move people that can move around. Of course, Stutzman, see, is 6'4", 246-pounder, so they can line him up like another tight end if they want to go with a 2 tight end attack.
And when they line him up off the line of scrimmage, that's really the only difference. They'll just move him back a lot. Here's the second down. And almost a first down, but not quite. That was the tailback, Raphael. He was brought down by number 44, Coriat. It's going to be short by about a yard. It looks like third down.
Now, right now, the Aggies are not tackling as crisply and sharply as they have been. Another missed tackle allowed that to be a little bit longer gainer than the play should have been.
Grant Taft, the head coach. His offensive coordinator in his first year is Chuck Reedy. Cotton Davidson, the assistant head coach and in charge of wide receivers in his 19th year. A couple of veterans on this staff and a couple of new folks as the give goes inside for strong yardage. And Quentin Coriat making the tackle on Straight, who looks like he is going to perhaps get a little bit more of the load in this game than he has in past games.
Yeah, take a look at the job that Scott Barron, the center, and Jones and Gant do. Look who's controlling the offensive line. You see Romani Jones, head defensive player, 3 yards back. Now watch the job Turnbull, 312-pounder does here. Comes right down in there, gets underneath the legs there. Now I see that. That's a good block. People say, well, he just let it fly. He didn't allow the defensive player to get to the hole.
Yeah, he just formed a human mountain, and you can't get over it. It's first down. Quickly out of the blocks. That was a good quick start by Straight, and Coriat on the tackle off right side. Now who she's rooting for.
Well, again, the Baylor Bears right now mixing up the cadence, going some long counts and some quick counts, which means that defensive linemen have to be ready for that first sound right now.
It is 2nd and 5.
The other thing that's happening, the Aggies have not had the football much this quarter. Baylor controlling the time of possession.
Straight and Michael Moore are the running backs. Moore is in the eye, the dot of the eye. Straight is the fullback, directly behind Joe. Fake, keep by Joe. Nowhere to go as that man, William Thomas, makes the stop.
That's a little counterplay that you'll see a lot of beer teams or teams use when they've been running one way. They'll fake, and then the quarterback will come to the other side, expecting the defensive end to go upfield and run underneath him. But the Aggies reacted well. Same start here. Now he's going to bring the ball back, coming back to his right, trying to get between the end and tackle. Thomas, the linebacker, is going to have none of it. He stood there and made the tackle, gets a little help at the end. Well, he didn't even need Coriat's help at the end.
3rd and 5. Inside pitch, and not enough. That goes to Mims. That was a forward pass, of course, but or wait, maybe he does have enough. Where are they going to spot it?
I think they'll be close, Greg. I think he made it by, I'm going to say 4 inches.
Oh, 4 inches.
All the Baylor people agree with me over on the other sideline, too. Great shuffle play. Great call by the offensive coordinator. He's got a new offensive coordinator. Chuck Reddy is the offensive coordinator. Came from Clemson. This is his first year at Baylor. What did I say, 3 inches? Let's see how good.
Well, let's see. You said 4, I thought. I don't change it. No, it was only about 1.5 inches. You're way off. And they're short on top of that.
Oh, Ben Angle. We're on the 50. That's on the 30, Greg.
All right, it will be They're in a situation here, especially after missing the first field goal. It would be.
Oh,
I guess only third. Is it only third or fourth? They haven't changed the chain yet. We're not going to have one of those, are we?
I think they'll go for it, Greg, here on this fourth down. With just an inch and a half or 2 inches to go.
Yeah, particularly since they missed the first one, and they're in that tough range. Here we go. They got Straight and Mims behind Joe. And Joe has it. Oh, football! And it's picked up by Marcus Buckley, and William Thomas were right there, and he left the ball behind. Oh, my. He had the yardage, but left the ball behind.
But that's a young quarterback, again, too anxious to make the play. Knowing he had it, he forgot to get the puck in, though.
We'll take a look after we take a break. No score, first quarter. Well, here it was, Ed.
Well, let's see the exchange. He's going to go to his left. He sees a little hole to the left. He's trying to come out the left. He just never got the ball. The center moved, and he didn't go forward with him. When that center moves, he has to move those hands right with him. He stayed here. The center moved, and he was going to go a little bit to the left. The center, of course, knows he's got to make a block. Joe just didn't move with him. And that's, again, an inexperienced quarterback.
Well, Buckley, who was in with Thomas at the same time, both often Buckley plays behind Thomas, made the play, and it's the Aggies' ball, first down on their own 33-yard line as Bucky Richardson comes back out on the field.
Well, I would think the Aggies would run the ball, Greg, right now to try to get that wind behind him here. There's only a minute and 6 seconds to go in the first quarter. It would be highly unusual for them to want to throw against the wind.
I'm not sure. We'll check the stats. I think he's only thrown the ball once. Didn't he? One pass. That was on a first down play in that first drive. It is first down. Richardson's got that open field and picks up about 7 to the left side, maybe 8. Santana Dotson tracked him down and made the stop.
Well, that's the second time or third time they've run that bootleg type play, and really what they're trying to give us, send a message to Baylor is, you defensive ends better stay home. Don't go over there trying to make the plays with Lewis carrying, because we got a quarterback that'll roll out and take advantage of it. That's just a message to make sure you stay in your own backyard and don't get in and try to stop the inside plays.
This is something that Bucky and the Aggies did not do a lot last week against Houston. That's have him run the ball. On second thought, they wish they had. Lewis, second effort, first down. He was stopped at the line of scrimmage and kept banging. Santana Dotson, who's pretty hard to move, was moved. He finally made the stop.
Well, Jason Rockhold is hurt today and not playing. Dexter Wesley, a freshman redshirt, 265-pounder, doing a good job. Now watch here. Look, there's the good job. You see Wesley continuing his block right there, straightening the man up, driving him on back, still with him. Well, that's an excellent job by Wesley on that block.
First down, and the ball is at the 45.
That should be the last play probably of the first quarter unless they want to run another one against the wind.
15 seconds on the quarter and 25 shot. They don't have to run a play. Now they run one anyway. They're going to run it to Lewis. And Lewis struggles forward to near midfield, and that is the end of the first quarter. The Aggies pick up about 5. They'll have the ball on a second down when play resumes after the period break. We've played 1 quarter of play here at Kyle Field, and there is no score. Texas A&M nothing, Baylor nothing. There's our second quarter score, and it is about to begin in the second quarter. The first quarter is scoreless. Texas A&M, the remaining schedule this year, they've got Rice on October 27th, at SMU, at Arkansas, big game at Arkansas, TCU here, and then at Texas December 1st.
They have to win all 5 of those games to go to the Cotton Bowl, I believe.
And the Texas game's always big. Arkansas is always tough.
There have been a lot of football games I don't think I've ever looked out on the field. Every python on every part of the field is down from the wind blowing down the field, and you can see the wind is blowing every one of them from the right to the left, all across the end zone line, all at the goal line. Every python is down in that same direction.
I assume you mean pylons. We do not have snakes on the field.
Well, same difference.
Second down and 5. Wilson tries it off the 50-yard line, gets about 3. It'll be third down and 2. Santana Dotson with the stop. Dotson is a junior from Houston Yates, All-Southwest Conference last year. As a freshman, was a defensive newcomer of the year. Of course, his dad, Alphonse, has spent some time with the Raiders. Some football genes. Gig'em Aggies. I hear that enough.
I'll tell you what, Dotson's a good-looking pro prospect. He's only a junior. He's already won 2 letters All Southwest Conference last year. Great high school coaching from Luther Booker at Yates High School.
Third down, and we'll call it 3. First down. Richardson gets about 4 as he runs out of bounds on the far side, as he has found what he admitted after the game last week, that he probably didn't run enough himself.
Well, he's the running quarterback. He threw a lot of passes, 4 interceptions, so I'm sure they would admit that. Almost looks at the end of the play that there's a late hit here. The crowd screamed for it. This is the designated quarterback rollout run, no question, with Wilson in front of him just doing a good job shutting down. Now right over there is where he got the late hit. Well, he didn't get knocked down, so maybe the official ignored it.
Ball just outside the 42-yard line, where it's first down for Texas A&M. No score. We've got 14-15 to go in the first half. This is Lewis to the 37-yard line. Out of bounds on the opposite side of the field from the last play. Good yardage on the play. Pickup of perhaps 6 or 7. And Malcolm Frank ran him out.
Well, Lewis did a good job here now. Looks like he's going to tick it up in. Now watch the lead block in there by Wilson. Gets the kick out block right there. Finally turns him back to the inside. He dipped, comes back to the outside. You can tell those two football players have worked together a long time. Lewis wisely watching which way Wilson's going to block that man.
Second down, and the board says 4. It's a long 3, and the ball is at the 36. On the delay, the draw, the give to Lewis for the first down across the 30 to the 27-yard line. It's Clifford Ellison coming in to make the stop.
Take a look now. Take a look at number 20, the lead blocker going in, getting into his hat on the player. That opens up the hole. And of course, Lewis, when he gets through, extra yardage by lowering himself and going forward. Gets 3 or 4 extra yards. If the back lowers that shoulder and goes forward, he tacks on a lot of yardage over the course of a season.
Garrett wide out to the wide side of the screen on first down. Again, the give to the fullback, Wilson, and no go this time. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, they tried to run a trap play. They pulled Mike Pappas, the left guard, pulled trying to get across. But a little penetration by the Baylor nose guard. Now watch the guard pull here. You see Pappas pulling right there? But now there's nothing in there for him to go on the trap play. He couldn't get up in the hole to make the trap.
Greg Effiger is the man who made the stop. He's the backup left tackle out of San Antonio Churchill. Missed a lot of 89 after breaking a leg in the Houston game in '88. Richardson trips but stays on his feet. Incomplete. That was one of those dangerous passes that has gotten him in a little bit of trouble. Incomplete. Garrett was the intended receiver, and Charles Bell tried to step in front of it.
Well, I think even if Garrett had caught, he would have been out of bounds. Now, that's that area right now where you almost expect Richardson to run the ball a little bit more. Looked like he could have turned upfield and maybe made 6 or 7 yards. Instead, he concentrated on throwing the ball, and now they're faced with a 3rd down and 10. Almost a situation where you have to throw the ball. And he's not the passing quarterback.
Aggies are 1 out of 3. The passing quarterback, Lance Pavlis, was leading the nation in passing for the first couple of weeks of the season. Had one poor game against LSU and hadn't played since. And there's a completed pass for the first down inside the 15-yard line. And that's Garrett, his first catch. Charles Bell was the man he beat.
They came right back and made the same identical play. Roll out to the right. You see Garrett on the ISO. He's a one-on-one situation going down there with Charles Bell. Bell has to respect his speed, backs off from him. Garrett makes a break to the outside. Pitch and catch. As long as he catches that ball and goes down, it will be a first down for the Aggies.
That's his 17th reception this year, tying him, well, actually tops on the club up to this point. First down. 13-yard line. Wilson to the 5-yard line. Robert Wilson, a pickup of about 7 or 8. Mike Welch coming up to help out on that stop from his free safety position.
Had to be a good job. Now watch the left side of the Aggie offensive line. Wesley and Pappas, the job they do, controlling the line of scrimmage, driving them forward. And now Wilson, of course, running like that tank he is, down to the 5-yard line.
Wilson lined up in the fullback spot in front of the tailback Lewis. 2nd and 2. Lewis stopped behind the line of scrimmage. A super defensive effort by Marcus Lowe, who is a familiar name. He transferred from Oklahoma. when he started after starting as a freshman.
Watch him come from the left side of your screen, coming right down through there, and slips the block, gets into the backfield, and makes the tackle.
Lowe is from Houston. Northbrook, a junior, had knee surgery, sitting out 88. Was a starter as a freshman at Oklahoma. Transferred during that injury recovery era. And now it's 3rd down and about 2. Sharp in motion, but we may have had some line motion or too much time. Let's find out.
I think there was motion on the right side of the Aggies' offensive line, it appeared to be.
That ball, false start on the offense, still 3rd down.
3rd down, move them back. See if it's the right tackle area.
Yeah, it looked like it was up in the right tackle area. Take a look up in there. I thought it was the right tackle. Made some movement.
Yeah, maybe it's outside the right tackle.
Well, he's rocking. He's rocking a little bit in there.
Could have been the tight end. But in any event, it is a 3rd down, and now they'll call it 8. And the ball is located at the 12-yard line. No score in the game, but the Aggies with the first serious threat. The pressure on Richardson's going to have to keep it. Throws it. Caught, but was he inbounds? Yes, touchdown. Had to take a look at where Richardson let go of the ball. Garrett was the receiver, and Richardson took a real hit as he was going out of bounds.
Boy, we have to see this again. It looked like he was out of bounds. Looked like he stepped out of bounds before he threw the pass. Official was right on top of it. Let's take a good look at this play. There he's coming over to the sideline, getting over very close to the sideline right now. Still in bounds right now. Oh, he got rid of the ball before he stepped out of bounds. Just an excellent play by Richardson.
Not a bad catch by Garrett.
Boy, I tell you what, he went up, and we talked about him at the top. It was a big play, and that was a big play.
And the extra point is good by Lane Talbot. The Aggies on the scoreboard. The scoreboard registering points for the first time. 10:58 to go in the first half. Texas A&M 7, Baylor nothing. Well, Bucky Richardson pulled one out there as he was almost out of bounds when he let go of the ball, and he really threw it in the crowd. This is it's a dangerous play, but I guess when it works, everyone forgets.
Watch him get hammered as he releases the ball. Now, that was just an excellent play by Richardson, especially when it worked. As you said, it was very dangerous. He threw it up for a grab, but a great catch by Garrett. Garrett goes up amongst 3 or 4 other people and catches the ball. Look at the bodies around Garrett right there for him to come down with it. And again, that's the type of player he is, a big play receiver.
Aggies are going to use on the kickoff Terry Venetoulias. See if he can get some distance on his kickoff. He's been having some trouble getting the ball into the end zone, even with the wind, so Venetoulias will kick off.
Well, we got the 12-man kickoff coverage team in, or
yes,
we got a
they
mixture?
are. No, it is the 12th-man team. I see all the 12th-man insignias on the sleeves. I don't see any. There may be 1 or 2. There usually are, but for the most part, it's the 12th-man team. Like Horton is in the game. He is right at the ball where they're holding it.
Well, the entire left side down here are 12-men people. Thielen, Underwood, Hundle.
There had been some controversy 2 weeks ago. He gave up a touchdown in the game against Tech, and they're going to have to tackle someone here, I think. Nope, they're not going to run it out. And that was the one reason why they made the change in the kicker. Venetoulias takes all the pressure off the 12th-man team if they don't have to make any tackles. And wait, there's a flag thrown right around the 15-yard line. Let's see what that's all about. Ball was down to the end zone. She's worrying a great deal about what this flag is all about. You can tell.
Red ball, personal foul on the offense.
Whoa, they roughed up one of the 12th men.
Yeah. That'll put them way back now. Well, penalties on the 15 to be half the distance. So they're going to wind up on half of 15. What is that, Greg?
That's 7.5.
7.5. Okay, thank you.
But you know all about pythons.
Well, yeah, I've worked with a lot of snakes in my career. Especially in pro football.
Well, they got it
but
set.
Now that I'm working with HSC, nothing but wonderful people.
That's true. Nothing but wonderful people. Well, they say Pavlis on the sideline loosening the arm. Now, that's interesting, except it means Richardson may have taken a real good hit when he threw that ball.
Well, not only that, again, they're working with the wind, and I think if you want to throw the ball, and I think they recognize the fact that with the wind today, you got some real opportunities of maybe Do a good job passing.
They had an ice pack on his thigh. I don't think, unless it's tied on, we can't see it. But he did have ice on his thigh, and that would be one of the big reasons.
Well, it looked like he gave a signal that he's okay. He's going to throw the ball over here on the sideline.
Yeah, but
he feels with it.
Of course, this is the opportunity for RC to put Pavlos in on the next possession anyway, because he had said they both were going to play. He said that a couple weeks ago, and they didn't. And if they're going to play them both, this next series might be it. Let's see what happens on this first down. The ball is finally spotted on the 10. Good power running coming outside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, it really is. But again, the defense had him stopped at the line of scrimmage, and they're not just wrapping up in there right now. Excellent running by Baylor. Won't take away from that, but you have to tackle. What's the opportunity right there? Had him stood up. Now he breaks a tackle, comes on forward, and turns a nothing play into a fairly good gainer.
That was straight. Now, we talked about him earlier.
We apparently didn't. That penalty
it was
may
from
have
the 20.
been called, yeah.
Yeah, it was a touchback, so it was called after they'd already decided the ball was in the end zone. So that's why they started on the 10. That's why they're out to the 15 now. There's a complete pass and a lot of running room. Look out here. This is Stutzman. And he's just a big tight end. He's not used to running 80 yards, but he ran enough. He got the ball across midfield down to about the 43-yard line.
Well, there obviously had to be a missed assignment by either the cornerback or the safety. One of them should have been either up and back. Kevin Smith, of course, is up. Now, you don't know whether the defense was called for the safety to back him up, but he's wide open. Stutzman wide open going down the sideline. Now, Baylor turns a really kind of a play they were hoping to make a first down, pick up half of that yardage into a long gainer.
He went 41 yards. The 6'4", 246-pound junior three-year letterman from Dangerfield, who was a Parade High School All-American, so he was highly regarded when he came into Baylor as well. And there's a quick give up to Strait, who's really getting the ball a lot here in this ball game. And he picks up about 1.5 yards. Strait, I was about to talk about, had knee surgery in '89, so he was redshirted, but only two players in the history of high school football have more yardage during their high school career. Strait is number 3. Ken Hall, of course, of Sugar Land is number 1, and the other one from is another state. There's Jones, the injured player. And we'll see whether maybe it was hopefully just a cramp, something minor. Monty Jones, the right guard. Now, if Monty Jones has to go out, Baylor backs up 3 different line positions with the same man, Mark Bass. Very versatile. In fact, Mark Bass had a chance maybe at All-Southwest Conference, but now he's been so valuable to this team, he is like the equivalent of a 6th man. He has no regular position, or he has not the last couple of weeks.
Do you know how much yardage Ken Hall raced for in his career at Sugar Land from 1950 to 53? 11,232 yards in his high school career.
And he came to Texas A&M but did not stay, as I recall.
Well, he and Bear Bryant didn't see eye to eye. One of the few players. He left A&M to go into the professional ranks up in Canada and tried to play back and forth, and eventually his pro career just didn't work out. Now I think he's an executive in the Sugar Land area.
Well, he has some numbers that are just flat out fantastic.
He only scored 899 points in his high school career.
Second down and 8. Straight on the carry, and he gets a couple more. It'll be 3rd down and about 5. Anthony Williams a tackle. The point you brought up, over 11,000 yards for Hall, and we told you Strait is 3rd. Well, Strait's total is 8,404, so the number 3 total and the number 2 total in Texas is 3,000 plus yards under that total that Hall registered.
Well, I'll tell you another one, Greg, and I have kept these records because I do some high school stuff. Hall's total offensive yards, now this is punt returns, kick returns, 14,558.
Just couldn't be stopped. The Sugar Land Express. 3rd down and 5. This time Strait, and they pitch it to the receiver coming around, and that's diagnosed by William Thomas. As Thomas drops Lee Miles before he can even think about turning upfield. A big loss on the play. Back from the, well, what was it? The 37-yard line all the way across back into the 49 other territory.
Well, this is good defensive coaching here. The thing that happened right now, Lee Miles, one of those receivers, but he has run the ball 9 times for 84 yards. He was averaging better 9 yards a carry. So obviously the defensive coach has said, hey, be alert for that reverse coming somewhere during the course of the game.
The kick is a poor one, but it's getting a good roll out of bounds inside the 25-yard line to the 22. We will take a break. The Aggies will have the football. We'll see who has the quarterback call when we return. 7-0 Aggies in the first half. Now Bucky Richardson stays in at quarterback, shaking off the thigh injury, and he gives the ball off to Lewis across the 25 to the 26-yard line. A pickup of perhaps 4 on the play. Stacked up there by Lee Bruderer and also Effinger. Richardson 2 out of 4 passing, but his running the ball and running the pace of the football game has been the key, although the Aggies have scored just once.
You can see his right arm had a little scratch on, a little blood. He had to get back in the game. You start tasting blood, you're ready as a football player.
Short drop and the pitch. Here's Lewis. Lewis across the 30 to the 40. Midfield still go. He almost got tackled by his own man. What was that? He got tangled up there in the arms of Derek Ware, it looked like.
Well, he was afraid he was going to lose the football. The ball almost came loose, and he had presence enough of mind to make sure that he secured the football rather than work. Once down in there, he's got great opening here, does a good job of running. But as he breaks into the open, his little hand gets on him, and he almost loses the football. He says, I got to secure it right here. His word right there. See, he almost loses the ball on his hip. He secured it back. That's what kept him from making that a long gainer.
Well, it was pretty long anyway. 28 yards on the carry, and it's first down at the 46. 92 yards for 12 carries in the first half for Darren Lewis. Lewis, no, not this time. His backup, Doug Carter, is in. Carter takes the ball across the 45. Make that Simmons 33, not 32. Simmons, with his first carry, gets the ball up for a couple of yards. John Godfrey with the stop.
Greg Simmons is a fine running back. I think the more experience he gets, he's going to be an excellent player for them next year. He's 6'2", 214-pounder. He really sticks his head in there, and I like a lot of the things I've seen him done in their ball games.
Simmons is in the lone running back position. Wilson is actually in a flank. Richardson has to give some ground. That is a penalty on the Aggies, as there was a clip way back downfield trying to keep him out of there. That was actually Randy Simmons who did it. He got turned around, and the key was the pressure by the defense, Ed, because Randy didn't know what to do. He knew he was supposed to knock him down.
There's a clip right there. No question that it's a clip. A good push in the back. Good shot. That's going to be a big loss, because that will go back to the spot of the foul, and they will tack it on from there. So that clip was about 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
And of course, no team likes to get in this situation, Ed, but certainly the Aggies, with their run-oriented offense today, they don't want to get into these 3rd and longs or 2nd and longs or anything at all.
Well, it's really interesting, Greg. The passing game has gotten the Aggies in trouble in their ball games this year. Last week, when they went to the passing game, it got them in trouble. Here's an example of another play that the passing game is getting them into trouble. Now, you have to throw the ball, but it just seems like so far this year, they have really not, the timing of when to and when not to has been a problem for them.
Well, they're going to mark it back in a moment. Well, they're trying to determine, I don't know what they're
well, I'll tell you what they're trying to determine, whether they just don't want to take the penalty. See, there's going to be a loss on this play. It'll be third down and about 20, whether you want to give them another penalty back to it. And that's exactly what they're thinking. See, they refused the clip. Now it's going to be 3rd down. They want to get the Aggies. I mean, if Baylor Bears want to get their hands on the ball, I don't know that I agree with that, with the Aggies having the wind behind their back. I think I'd have pushed them back and taken my chances on giving them 2 more downs. As the wind is a factor. They will be punting with the wind.
It'll be 3rd down and 13. The ball is at the Baylor 49. 7-0 the score, Aggies. We've got 7 minutes to go in the first half. First down inside the 35-yard line to Shane Garrett. Charles Bell making the stop too late. Check that. That's Gary Oliver, number 40.
Again, this is the same play, the one-on-one situation. He goes back, rolls a little bit out to his right, looking downfield for the one-on-one coverage. Oliver breaks to the outside, comes down with it inbounds. Another completion, working against Charles Bell, the senior from Waco.
Oliver now will, on this play, flank out to the top of the screen and Garrett to the bottom. Oliver from Breckenridge, Texas. 12 receptions coming into the game. Richardson on a sort of a sprint draw, tries to thread the needle. That's incomplete. That was a good defensive play. The crowd thinks someone was over the back. They think that Welch maybe jumped over the top, but it looked from my initial recognition that he went right after the ball without contact.
Well, I think he got the right hand across as he comes across. I think he gets his right hand across. A lot of times it'll look like the left hand is on the back. Let's see right here. See, he gets the right hand across. Left hand never touches him. Good play by Welch. Good defensive play. Crowd always sees that. They see the right hand go across. They assume that the body of the left hand, and that's the way he's coached. Put one hand out and the other hand up. That was an excellent play by Mike Welch.
Not only a great interceptor, a great student, a two-time GTE All-American in the Southwest Conference. Second down. Fumble. Baylor football. Marcus Lowe says, I got it. And it'll be first down for Baylor.
Now here he comes out with a snap. He's got the ball now. Now there's where he puts it in. He was going to take it out. He just put the ball in there too far. He wanted to bring it out. They wanted to run the option to the outside, but he put it on the hip of the fullback. And once he put it on the hip of the fullback, he wasn't expecting to get the ball. Tried to pull it back out. That's where the miscommunication from the ball handling standpoint occurred.
Well, the turnovers are even, and it is first down for Baylor. The Bears trail by 7 with 6:33 to go in the first half. Joe with a quick drop. Complete. Out on the left side. Short yardage pickup. Crowd, again, they're arguing. They think that Lee Miles trapped it, but we'll be able to see.
Well, it's right over in front of the official. He had to be able to see this. He was in a great position. See if he gets his hands underneath the ball. Underneath the ball. Good catch. Official's right there looking into it. Great position by the official to see the play. Fans on this side couldn't see that.
Little talk with the defense for Baylor. Meanwhile, it's second down and 5. Keep by Joe, and he probably wished he didn't because Albert Jones just wrapped him up.
Well, that's the second time they've run that quarterback counter where the backs go one way. He steps and then comes back to his right. Both times A&M has stepped. Watch him step there, now come back trying to run the play right into there. And, of course, as you can see, big number 95, Albert Jones from Missouri City, Willow Ridge, makes a big play.
He said, look what I found. 257-pounder. He's overcome knee problems. Big Al. Third down, 5. Flags on this one.
Offside Aggies, no question. They were in the neutral zone.
Looked like Williams or Coriat. One of them tried to jump through. Perhaps Coriat or Williams, maybe both. But in any event, they're going to be given 5, I think.
Well, again, this was a mixing up of the calls here. Right there, you see Coriat right up in the neutral zone. No question, that was a penalty. When you alternate those calls, they'll always go on 2, go on 4, go on 1. You get those linebackers jumping once in a while. Certainly been a clean game so far, though. Both teams with only 2 penalties. And a hard-fought game, just as we anticipated in this type of rivalry.
Well, they needed enough. It looks like they got just enough with that one for the first down. So it's a first down. They were about 3rd and 5, and they got enough with the 5-yard penalty to have a first down at the 42.
Well, that was a big first down because it enables them to retain possession of the ball.
Joe keeps it. And he's got some room past midfield. Finally dragged down by number 31, Eric Moore, after a good gain. And it looks like enough for a first down, a pickup of just over 10 yards. 11 yards officially.
Well, Joe does a good job running option right down there now. He's going to get to the outside and watch him cut back. Once he gets through here, he comes all the way back out to the right. Right now he's running laterally, trying to get to the outside. Lost his balance a little bit. If he could have picked up his speed, he might have made a much bigger gainer out of it.
Joe had carried for 68 yards on 31 carries coming into this one. Of course, that subtracts the number of times he's dropped behind the line trying to pass. He's a better runner than that. And across the 45-yard line, about the 42, that was Mims, and Anthony Williams with the stop. Williams, the top tackler this year for the Aggies, the junior from Waco Jefferson Moore.
Just ran the power sweep, turn and toss the ball. Try to get people blockers out in front of him. Picked up about 4 on that play.
2nd and 6. 4 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the half. Texas A&M 7 on a touchdown pass from Bucky Richardson, approximately 13 yards, and it is Baylor nothing. Baylor with the ball. Quick give inside to Straight. Straight bounces off one tackler and gets inside the 35 to the 32-yard line. And that's the first down for Baylor. Larry Horton with the stop. Coming into this game, Straight had just 138 yards for the year, and he is on a pace in which he may better that in this game because he's getting the ball quite a bit.
Well, what he's doing right now, he is making the first tackler of the Aggies miss. When you make that first tackler miss, you're going to pick up 4 or 5 extra yards every time you run the football.
Inside 4 minutes, and it's first down on the Aggie 33. Quick handoff to Michael Moore, the speedy tailback, and Moore brings the ball up to about the 25-yard line where he's brought down by Larry Horton. Moore is a senior from Dallas White. He went to Taft Junior College, had a strong spring. In fact, for a while, he was listed ahead of Eldwin Raphael at the tailback spot, but Raphael, the veteran, won it back.
Well, offensive line now, you have to control the linebackers. Now, those 2 fine linebackers, Williams and Coriat, and look how they get blocked. That's what makes those plays go. Look at the fine offensive line blocking. To control linebackers, you can run inside.
Again, the give this time to number 32, David Loeb, back in at fullback, and Loeb may have the first down. He needed to get to the 23, and it appears he just made it. Anthony Williams with the stop.
Well, I think Williams a little unhappy with the play he made before. He steps in there, and that's what you got to do. A linebacker in the running play inside has to step up in there and meet that blocker and control his gap. If you give ground a little bit, now the running back can cut either way he wants and picks up extra yardage.
Now I don't think they made it. For some reason, I saw them up around the 22. I think they're about a yard short now from where they're leaning.
The other thing about this right now, so far, this game is going the way Baylor would like to have it go. If they can hang in this game early, they figure they can win it late.
About 14, 16 inches short. It'll be third down.
They got a good offensive line coach at Baylor. F.A. Dry has been there many, many years. He does a fine job with those offensive linemen.
There's a good point. It's how close it has been. Baylor actually has the total yard advantage. This is another big play. It's third down and less than a yard. They're 3 of 6 in third down plays, and one of them they would have made, but they fumbled. That may have been a fourth down play. They would have made it, but they fumbled. Here we go.
Option play.
Straight for the first down. Straight ahead, as a matter of fact, down to the 21-yard line. And so it's first down for Baylor as they keep the drive alive. 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Clock stopped while they move the chains on the first down. The Aggies lead at 7-0. We're in the first half.
Now watch the offensive line fire out. See the white jerseys moving off the line of scrimmage, getting into the maroon-colored jersey. That enables him to get a good running head of steam to pick up the extra yardage. He's got 8 rushes now for 55 yards in this first half. Robert Straight.
Straight again on the carry. Keep from the pitch finally to Mims or Moore rather, and Moore goes outside and gets out of bounds where he's finally banged out by Horton inside the 15-yard line. Good fake into the line. J.J. Joe gave it to Straight and took it back and then pitched to Moore, who got the yardage.
Well, he's reading the play of the defensive lineman. This is a read option. And he puts it in there. He looks to see what's happening. When the defensive ends and tacklers are closing down, then he brings it out and makes the pitch. He has the option of giving it to Straight or bringing it back out and running the true option, or he carries or makes the pitch.
Michael Moore, tailback from Dallas. Spent some time at Taft Junior College. He stays in at tailback. And the place ahead is good for the first down. On the carry to Moore, and so it is a first down inside the 15-yard line. Actually, it's going to be spotted inside the 10 at just about the 9.5.
It's a big offensive line in there now for the Baylor Bears. 276, 312, 267, 283, 261. They're all on a tremendous weight program. They're very strong. They've got a weight trainer that just does an excellent job with it.
It's that Bob Fix.
That's Bob Fix.
Straight, the lone running back. Straight ahead to the 5. Touchdown, George Strait.
How about Robert?
He's going to sing that one over. 7-6 with the extra point coming.
George can sing, but he can't run that strong.
I think so.
Well, Watch the power that Straight runs with here now. Watch this. Watch him lower himself. Good body lean. Look at that body lean right there. He knows he's going to get hit, but he just drives. He takes Smith with him right into the end zone. Well, that's a great shot of the body lean of a good, big, strong 230-pound back.
Straight has 64 yards on 9 carries, and that is half of his season total, and it's blocked. The extra point is blocked, and he can run it back for 2, but I don't think he's going to be able to. And that means the Aggies hold on to their lead by 1 with 1:56. Derek Frazier came through and smashed it. 1:56 to play. First half, the Aggies 7, Baylor 6. Well, how big is 1 point? They're automatic, right? Well, no, not exactly, as the Aggies saw a tie staring in the face, but didn't get it.
Watch number 3, Frazier coming from the outside, leans out, gives his body. He all sets his second block. He blocked a big field goal against LSU. Here's another shot of the same. Now, see, he doesn't go for the football. He goes way out in front. There's a great job of showing you how to block field goals. He don't go anywhere near where the holder was at. He went 2-3 yards in front of him, laid his body out, so he got the ball as it was rising. Well, that's a great shot by our cameraman on how the perfect way of blocking a field goal.
First one that has failed that Ireland has tried this year.
Both scores have been following a turnover by each team.
Halftime, we'll take a peek at the Aggie band. Baylor's band is here. Of course, it's all part of the flavor of college football. Aggie football. Southwest Conference style, as the Bears in the 87 times these teams have met. Here is the scoring drive, and it was a long one, even though the turnover, they had to go 30, they got it on the 33.
Had to go 67 yards. It took 4 minutes and 35 seconds off the clock. Straight did a great job of taking that ball in the end zone, running the ball for the 9 yards. That's a big extra point, though, in this football game. Look at the size of him now. He looks like he should be an offensive lineman or a defensive end or a linebacker. That's a running back. You think he's not having fun scoring that touchdown?
I tell you what.
Walking down that line, way to block, way to block. Oh, you did a great job. That's what he's telling his offensive lineman and his running back. This kickoff will be against the wind.
Patterson takes it. Patterson has it at about the 13. And, well, I think he pretty much tackled himself there as he's brought down. He ran into his own man. There's a whistle. Could have been a fumble on the play. The Baylor Bears say yes, but did they get one?
No. Officials are ruling A&M.
Baylor thought they had it.
Well, they may have been down. The official may have ruled it down, but there's a good example. There's a good example now when we talk about why coaches want return people to make sure they know who's going to get the ball. Not real sure, but the bounce and they're confused. All the while, the coverage people are getting down there. Against the win, that's an excellent job by Baylor Bears special teams.
Couldn't tell where it came loose on that shot,
well,
or even who
if
fell.
If it did, his knees were down.
First down. Lewis, right side. Lewis up to about the 31-yard line. Mike Welch with another tag. You know, Welch, who made that tackle, is headed for his 3rd straight 100 tackle season.
Take a look at the big hole, though. Look at the opening of that hole there. George Strait could have probably ran that one.
Yeah, I think George could have. He would have.
He might not have got 8 yards. He might have got 3 or 4, but there was a big hole there for him to run into.
2nd down and 2.
Got him down the middle.
Underthrown and intercepted. Underthrown and picked off by Michael McFarland. He had a man wide open in Shane Garrett, but not enough arm.
He was open. He was behind everybody, but Richardson just couldn't get the ball down there to him, and he was throwing that with the wind.
It was a good play call. Maybe just not the, well, obviously not the right execution because the man was behind the defense.
Well, they allowed the defensive back to recover and catch up with him while the ball floated in the air. That's Michael McFarland's 3rd interception of the year.
From Jasper, Texas. Take a look at Richardson's reaction. Well, I guess maybe he didn't know.
Well, he knew he was out there. He knew that he was open. But the problem, Greg, you can't wait that long. Just get, as soon as he's open, deliver the ball. Let him run underneath it on a long pass.
That's the 7th interception and incomplete as they tried to split the defensive seam with a pass intended for the wideout Steve Stutzman, but it was make that Pierce, but it was incomplete. Alonzo Pierce, the Y-back.
Well, they caught the Aggies in a 2-deep secondary, and the secondary split into the outside. Pierce was open down the middle. J.J. just didn't get the ball to him. J.J. Joe stands for John Eric Joe. J.J. How do you get J.J. out of that?
John Joe. 7-6 to score, and you saw the clock left in the half. Little dump pass incomplete.
Incomplete. That's probably the best thing that stopped the clock from Baylor's standpoint. If he'd have caught it, the clock would have continued to run. There's only 1 minute and 5 seconds to go here, 3 seconds in the first half.
Whatever they do on this next play, of course, now on a way, though, the Aggies are kind of happy. This will be 3rd down. Aggies could get the ball in decent position if the Baylor Bears can't score here, as you take a look at the Bears sideline.
Oh, I think they'll run the ball here and force the Aggies to use a timeout if they want the ball back.
And they do. They run the ball, and they keep the ball for a first down. A fumble, and the Aggies have it. And fumble it again, and now it's picked up again. This is Frazier. This is Smith. And Smith brings the ball.
I can't do that. I was just going to say, yeah.
No, I think the ball is dead from where he picked it up, but we'll unsort this. Uh-oh. We talked about how clean game it was. Now we're running into a little tempers.
Well, now maybe one of the Aggies stole one of the Baylor Bears co-eds or something right now. I don't know.
Yeah, in the history of the school. Well, we're going to straighten that out.
Let's take a look at the plays. Good draw play. Good call. The draw play breaks out of there. See him right now, lowered down.
They can't advance it past the line of scrimmage, and that's where he's picking it up. But from the player's standpoint, that was a bad move because you never know.
Well, they're going by the clock, but that actually was a forward lateral that he made after he picked up the football.
That may be what one of the flags was, but they're going to have to put the ball back to where it was.
Take a look at the fumble. Looks like he was almost down. Now, here's a good job there. Now, look at him stripping the football in there now. That's an excellent job by Moore, stripping the ball.
It was pretty close.
To being
that
down.
knee was just about down.
Defense, we got a dead ball on the offense. We'll set the stake, and it'll be 1st and 25.
Okay, it's on both.
Well, it's going to be against, but the Aggies are going to get the football. And see, with that type of situation, the turnover goes to the Aggies. Grant Teff very unhappy about the call. They're coming over and going to give an explanation now to R.C. Slocum on his side of the field. He's saying that your team recovered the ball and we had a dead ball foul is what he's telling R.C. there. And R.C. says, you're right, you're right. So it's going to be 1st down and 25 for the Aggies when they get this all sorted out with 47 seconds to go in the half. Now Grant says, hey, I want the same explanation. What did you tell that guy, the home field coach over there? Referee saying, fumble recovered by the Aggies. Dead ball foul against your team. Dead ball foul against them. One of the assistant coaches says he knows more what's going on. Shakes his head, knows he can't win it. Grant talking to the other official now.
Did the Aggies have to decline their half of the penalty to get the ball? That's the question.
Well, all the penalties they declared apparently were dead ball.
Well, I know, but they're marking it off against the Aggies, and they didn't mark off anything against Baylor, so it would seem they had to decline. Otherwise, they would have been canceled. It would have still been perhaps Baylor's ball on the previous play. The play would have been, well, no, it was after. Well, it was after the play was. I have to read about this one. I think officials are still trying to figure this one out too, just as we are, and they certainly know the rule book backward and forward.
Well, R.C. now had a second thought about what the official said to him. And they're trying to say what you're talking about, Greg.
He's probably saying, well, no, wait a minute, if we don't have to, you know, if we don't have to.
They now may be talking about the spot of the ball. They're probably talking about the spot of the ball. Let's see where they got the spot of the ball correctly.
I guess they didn't.
Now Grant Teff going to be awful unhappy.
Yeah, because
whatever R.C. talked him into.
Yeah, he's going the other way.
He's going to be awful unhappy.
Well, they obviously didn't decline any penalties. Now they got the 15 yards.
Grant Teff going to get himself another one, and I'm not so sure that I wouldn't blame him under these circumstances. because what they're ignoring is the forward lateral play that A&M made on the attempted to make a play, which is another penalty involved.
Personal foul, be 15 on the defense. Dead ball, personal foul on the offense. 1st and 25.
Wait a minute, dead ball foul. Okay.
Okay, but they're here.
Well, why are they? I don't understand why they're bringing the ball way back to the line of scrimmage here. Nothing occurred at the line of scrimmage. They called a dead ball foul.
Well, okay, no, except that the fumble was past the line of scrimmage. Oh, they couldn't advance. Well, they could still pick it up from where they recovered it, though. You're right. I don't understand it either. Well, we'll read about this one.
Well, you're going to get an explanation with officials after the game. Officials are still confused. You see, there's absolutely no way. There's no way. The officials are in a mistake right now, Greg. The ball was fumbled. A&M recovered the fumble down here, whatever yard line.
Now they're moving it back again.
Well, they're getting closer to being right now. They're getting closer to being right now.
Isn't this about where they started? Isn't this where the fumble was recovered?
This is where the fumble was recovered.
That's what I thought.
That's where the fumble was actually recovered. Now, the Aggies had a penalty, the forward lateral, that they didn't call, they didn't enforce.
First down after all of this with 47 seconds to play and a half. Screen. Incomplete.
You see, the Aggies, the way it's set up right now, the Aggies' line of scrimmage or 10 yards starts on the 31-yard line. There's absolutely no way that the Aggies ever had the ball on the 31-yard line. That's where they said should have been 1st and 10. Now they marked off 15 back, but the Aggies never touched the ball till about where it was at right now.
This is where looks like where they would have recovered the ball.
Certainly, that's where they recovered the ball.
And that's where they would have had it if they'd just fallen on it.
That's right. That's exactly right.
All they've been penalized is they've got to go farther for a first down, but not any field position.
That's right.
40 seconds. Richardson underthrown, out of bounds. Intended for Ware. It's a couple times he's tried Ware and didn't come too close.
You know, pro ball, you can pick a fumble up and run it.
Yeah, here, if it's past the line of scrimmage, you can't advance it. And that was where, right here's where they would have, but they never actually had it because they picked it up and started, well, yeah, they did. I guess they did.
Well, you could say that.
Then he lateral, and that didn't matter because they couldn't advance it from that point.
That's right. Well, there's 36 seconds to go. 3rd down and, I guess, 25.
Except for the 25 part. I think they got the ball close to right. Now we got a holding call, I believe, and it's going to be 3rd and long, and they'll just have to give it up. Marcus Lowe coming through and making the stop. This did not turn out very well for the Aggies. The opportunity to get some points maybe in the last minute is waning.
Well, they're going to obviously decline this because it now will be 4th down. There's going to be holding call against the Aggies. They'll decline it, and it will be 4th down. So with 30 seconds to go, maybe nobody got anything out of it.
These kind of things are debates then with the coaches and the officials during the off week, but at least it does not appear it was going to cost anybody any points. The ball was going to be pretty much at midfield no matter who had it. 21 seconds to play. Sean Wilson into punt. Just in case, they're not going to put anybody back.
Well, they're going to try to block it. They're going to come after this with 14 seconds. If he snaps the ball, they're going to try to block it.
Because a first down on roughing, or a...
well, they're going to take a delay of the game if they can run the clock down as much as they can. They don't care about the delay of the game.
Yeah, 5 seconds.
Now, eventually, see, they're still going to be forced to punt it. Now Baylor will attempt to really block it. And even if they rough him on these circumstances, there'd only be time for one more
yeah,
punt.
And the field position isn't going to be that good because he's going to be punting from around his own 30. So even if they rough him and he gets 15 yards and a first down, actually the clock's going to run out anyway.
But they'd have one more play.
Yeah, they'd have one more play. It's a tough situation if you're the punter. Sean Wilson, you say, here they come. It's target practice. Well, they roughed him.
There's just exact.
They roughed him.
Well, he's going to get one more play. All that's going to do is give the Aggies one more play.
And Wilson a few bruises. So the Aggies will have a first down. They'll have one play.
Well, that's a good shot. Here is a rough, and no question on it. And they had no reason not to try to go in there and do anything they could to get it. There's a rough right now. It comes down, lays right into him.
It was Trooper Taylor who got to him.
And they're going to have
I'd be surprised if they do it. I'd bring in, they're going to do it. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're just going to punt again.
Well, they got one more play to go. They got one more play. That's all they're going to have. They'll have one more play. They're going to give them a 15-yard penalty. It'll be first down and 10, but that's in the
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying.
It's basically first down.
They're going to try a field goal from 59 yards.
Well, they got the wind behind their back. Wind behind their back. Longest of his career, 46-yarder.
He's between the hash marks, so he doesn't have an extreme angle. Nope. Yep, he made it. Low and right there. 59, actually 58 and a half. We'll see what the official number on it. They're going to call it officially 59 yards. The Aggies had 3, and it is halftime. Texas A&M 10, Baylor 6 in a first half that took a while to finish. You're watching the action on Home Sports Entertainment. Texas A&M leads the Baylor Bears 10-6 at halftime here at Kyle Field in Southwest Conference football. Greg Lucas back along with Ed Biles. You know, Ed, before the game, we sort of figured this game was going to be low-scoring, physical, mostly ground-oriented, and it certainly has been.
Well, we talked a little bit about being the intense rivalry and the fact that you're going to have some hard-nosed football. We also talked a little bit about people rising to the occasion. Talbot sure rose to the occasion there with that big, long 59-yard field goal. One of the papers throughout the state today talked about this rivalry as being both romantic and violent. I think we had a little bit of that, a little bit of officials in there that got involved right towards the end of the game. It's been exciting. It's been college football. Expect the unexpected, and we saw some unexpected things in the last minute of that college football game.
Defense has been strong both ways. The Aggie running game, certainly Lewis has had a great game, and the guy who's really come to the fore with his best college game to date is Robert Strait.
Well, he and Lewis are kind of going back and forth. I think Strait is trying to say, hey, I'm the up-and-coming running back in this league. We anticipated Lewis to run like him. We didn't anticipate Strait. But I think we're right back to the same thing. Hard-nosed football. Which offensive line can control the other offensive line? It's a rival game. You never know what's going to... I think Baylor's in a little better position right now than maybe they anticipated or the fans anticipated going into this second half of this ball game, being down by 4 points. Grant's got a few things he's going to say to him about a little bit of the officiating at the end. He's also going to tell him that we made a couple mistakes that kept us from being ahead in this football game. So I think maybe a little bit of momentum could go into their side at the beginning of this third quarter.
Yeah, we had a little bit of everything. Even the officials ruling that we think they know what they did. Maybe. Stay with us. We're going to take a look at the Aggie band. We'll have the halftime continuing, and of course the second half coming up right here on HSE. Back at halftime, the Aggies lead the Baylor Bears 10-6 from Kyle Field. Greg Lucas here along with Ed Biles as halftime continues, and one of the highlights in every Aggie home game or any time the Texas Aggies perform on the football field is the halftime show. And we're about to take a look at the precision of the Fightin' Texas Aggie marching band. The traditions of Texas A&M evident with their routines, and the precision and hours of work also very evident when they take the field. So sit back and enjoy the presentation here at halftime, the Fightin' Texas Aggie marching band. Under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Ray Toller, drum majors Russell Griffin, Chris Alexander, and Richard Warner, the Fightin' Texas Aggie Band. Halftime continues with the Aggies leading 10-6. We'll take a look at the statistical story and some of the highlights coming up in just a moment. Aggies leading the Bears 10-6 at halftime. And some of the highlights in the first half, there weren't a lot, but there were some interesting ones, Ed Biles. First of all, the first touchdown of the game was a real sort of lucky play, but a good athletic play by Bucky Richardson and Garrett.
Well, it's a great reception. I think the thing about this play is a desperation toss. Obviously, throws it into a crowd. You really don't normally want a quarterback to do that, but look at the catch. They go up and come down for the touchdown by Mr. Shane Garrett.
Yeah, that was the first touchdown. Now, they got the extra point, so it's 7-0, but the Bears came back.
Well, look at Robert Strait now. This is just shows you fine running, coming right in the camera. Look at him lower himself on about the 3-yard line and drive it into the end zone. He's had a great first half. Best half of football he's had for the Bears.
The extra point, however, which could have tied the game, well, good defensive play here by Derek Frazier does not allow that to happen.
Picture-perfect block. See how far he is in front of that ball? That's just great. The way he was coached, the way he's told to do it, the way every blocker is told to go, even on blocking punts. That's the way you say go in front of the ball.
And after a whole bunch of confusion, which Ed has the explanation for, we'll get to in a few moments, this 59-yard field goal. And that was right down the pipe, and that made it 10-6 at the half. Not a big reaction.
Well, I don't know whether I don't think he really recognized it went over the goal. He may have thought it was still underneath until the teammates started grabbing him.
Here's the statistical story in the first half. First down's relatively close. Baylor with the advantage in total yards, though, but they're down.
Well, I think the other important factor here, Baylor, of course, has rushed for more yards than A&M, 151 to 120. It has more total yardage than A&M. First half pretty well played by Baylor.
We'll take a break and be back with the second half. Stay with us. It's 10-6. Those guys, the Aggies, lead the Bears. As we get the second half underway, the kickoff goes through the end zone. Texas A&M will bring the ball out to the 20 where they will put it in play. And how did they do in the first half? Well, we told you they scored 10 points. They really only had one drive to speak of.
And of course, that field goal was set up on where Baylor went after a punt block, and penalty gave them the 15-yard and gave them the opportunity. That field goal, the last play of the first half.
Bucky Richardson still in at quarterback. Darren Lewis, the tailback, and he has the handoff. Lewis gets the ball up to just under the 30-yard line. Lee Bruder with the stop, the Houston Klein sophomore, and it'll be a 2nd down and 1.
And of course, with that carry, Lewis goes over 100-yard mark for this game. 14 carries for 108 yards.
After the next play, if we have a chance, Ed, you got an explanation as to why the officials ruled as they did on that long discussion near the end of the first half. We'll try to get that in after this play, unless somebody does something. Well, we're going to have time because they're going to be penalized for 5. What was the ruling?
Well, the ruling was that Kevin Smith recovered the fumble and he was tackled. He could advance the ball because he was tackled on the 47-yard line. They said that during the play, Baylor had a 15-yard penalty for a personal foul.
Okay.
Then at the end of the play, Texas A&M was penalized for a after possession type penalty. So they went from the 47 down to the 32, then marked back.
Okay, I got it, I think. 2nd down. And Lewis carries the ball up to the 28-yard line. And Lee Bruder again on the stop. But the question was, why were they so confused in the first place?
Well, I think the confusion downstairs in the press box was very much that, well, what happened to the official who threw the flag on the forward lateral play? He evidently just kind of took it and put it in his mouth and swallowed it and ate it, because that never came up in the finalized discussion. But whatever that's worth. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Richardson's numbers as a passer, but he has been effective running the option and running himself. 3rd down. Now they'll go with a power backfield.
And Lewis bounces off one, but does not make it. I don't think, unless he could reach that ball forward enough before the knee went down.
No, he didn't, because the official on the Baylor side of the field, on the far side of the field, you see where he's got his toe pointed down, and that's where the ball's going to be spotted, and it will not be to the 30-yard line. It's going to be 4th down.
So Sean Wilson will have to come in and punt.
Now, Greg, again, Baylor is working with the wind this quarter.
And a low kick to knife through the wind. And it's picked up there by Bell, and Bell didn't get much of a return up to about the 34-yard line. Still not bad field position for the Bears for their first possession.
Oh, boy, that was an excellent kick against the wind. He really got that foot into it with it. Instead of getting the toe up, he kind of had a line drive, the punt, and got a long distance out of it against the wind.
We got a player down while they attend to the player. We'll take a break. It is Texas A&M 10, Baylor 6. We'll stay as long as we have to. This is Bell, who brought the ball up and took a hard hit, was shaken up. Take a look at the hit. Ramsey Bradbury, I think, is the one who, well, he got low by Bradbury, who made the tackle, and then he got smashed later on.
Well, they hit him on the side of the ribs, right on the side there. I think he'll be back in the ball game. Of course, he's a defense. They're looking at his ribs on the side over there now. Now, if he had rib pads on, it'd probably be okay. If he didn't have rib pads on, well, he's going to feel that rib cartilage really hurts. And you can see he's in a little bit of pain over in the sideline. Or it could be a hip pointer.
Joe, the quarterback, has Stutzman in motion. The pitch to Raphael, and Raphael cannot turn the corner. First man to slow him down was Thomas, and then he was ridden out of bounds by Crooms. And a gain of maybe a yard.
Well, they haven't had much success running outside against the Aggie defense. The most success they've had has been running tackle to tackle. And you see the Aggies stringing it out. Thomas strings it out there. And, of course, you can see the other people coming in helping him out. Chris Grooms there helping out.
I want to say something about Thomas. He plays linebacker, outside linebacker. Size-wise, as you look at Crooms, 192-pound strong safety. Size-wise, Thomas is small for a linebacker. And there's Raphael, first down across the 45 to the 46. Quentin Coriat with the tackle.
Well, that's where they had their success, running straight inside. Now, that was a Dural type play with the lead blocker, but they had great success running tackle tackle. See him bringing it back to him. Now, he's looking for the hole all the way in the back. Well, he's 7 yards deep. Time he gets to that hole, he can see where he wants to go. And he picks up a first down.
That was almost a perfect example of how why running backs, a lot of them like the I formation, because you pick your hole. You have a chance to see where the running room is, but still have to be a pretty good running back to be able to have enough speed starting that far back in the backfield. This time Raphael only gets a couple of yards, and Coriat and Williams bring him down.
Well, the other thing it does, now that was a draw tape, but if you do the same thing on a straight ahead type play, the offensive linemen have to hold their blocks a fraction of a second longer because it takes the back longer to get to the line of scrimmage. So your offensive line has to do an excellent blocking job to open up holes of that nature.
Second down and 7. It's the running back duo that started the game, and this time they give the fake give, kept by Joe, and Joe struggles forward. Depends on where the knee went down. Looks like he may be just a little bit short of the first down. Anthony Williams with the stop. A third, maybe a foot.
There's an option play. Brings it out, pulls it out of there as he reads the play, the defensive end. Now makes a fake like he may go to the outside. Thomas went a little bit for the pitch man. He turned it up underneath him, and he's about, maybe a half yard short of the first down. They tried to run a quarterback sneak early, and he fumbled on this situation. Let's see if they do the same thing, or they decide to give it to the big back.
Well, they got straight back in at the big back. They did that once with him. They do it twice, straight for the first down across the 44. That's twice they've given it to Straight in that situation, and of course once the quarterback tried it. That was actually on fourth down when he tried it and fumbled. Straight has come through both times.
Well, if that back just sees a little bit of daylight and goes for that daylight, he's pretty well sure of picking it up and making it. Well, our cameramen are really on the stick today, huh? A lot of beautiful women in this stadium, apparently.
Love those Aggies, love those Bears.
That's what started this rivalry, though, wasn't it? Stealing of those co-eds?
Right. Those Bears were stealing, or those Aggies were stealing those Baylor co-eds back before they had the ladies enrolled here. There's Joe with the pass. Touchdown, Lee Miles. American sprinter. Lee Miles got behind the defense. The pass was right on the fingertips.
Well, they took the outside receiver, brought him down. He worked to the inside on the curl pattern. Miles did was went from the inside to the outside and then just used his speed to go down the line of scrimmage. Now, I would take a look whether Baylor's going to go for one or whether they're going to go for two under the circumstances.
It's like two to make up for the extra point they missed. The play was 43 yards.
Yeah, but Greg, a one would just put the Aggies in a position the field goal would just tie him. I think he doesn't want it. I think he's had a chance to think about it. He wants time. I don't know that he wants to go for two.
Yeah, he got a time call.
I think he's got a chance to think about this now. I think he's had a chance to think about this, realizing that 1 point puts a field goal for just a tie. Or maybe he's not happy with the play selection. Let's see what he's going to decide to do.
Well, Anderson quickly ran over and called timeout, as you see there. Now he's conferring with the sideline. The coaches, he saw. Let's look at the touchdown. The pass from Joe to Lee Miles.
He's rolling out here to his left, gets himself set. He knows what he wants to go all the way. Miles just came to the outside and then just ran straight down the field. Boy, pass was well thrown. Watch him have to reach out with his fingertips here to catch this ball. So he can stretch out Miles to catch that ball. Excellent catch. That's hard pass to catch. Now, talking about a 5'6", 158-pound player from Mart, Texas. That's his 7th reception of the year, his first touchdown of the year. First touchdown of the year.
Second longest play, too. He had a 46-yard reception earlier this year. This one went for 43 and counted for 6.
He knew he was in the end zone. Safety came across. Derek Fraser came across and didn't take quite the proper angle on it. And of course, you see Joe's reaction. And now he goes down on his hands and knees here in a minute. And like any good Baptist,
knows that he had help, huh? 10 minutes and 41 seconds remaining, and it's 12-10 Baylor. And they have changed their mind. They are going to kick.
Well, I think Grant had a chance to think about this and realize that 1 point is forcing a field goal from Texas standpoint to be playing for a tie. And a tie doesn't do either team much good in this series.
Jeff Ireland. This one's up, and this one's good. 10 minutes and 41 seconds to go in period 3. The Baylor Bears have taken the lead back, or taken the lead, we should say, 13-10 over Texas A&M. Southwest Conference football continues next Saturday when the Arkansas Razorbacks visit the Houston Cougars at the Astrodome. Last year, Queen Grovey led a second-half comeback with some timely passing and a dominating running attack that beat the Cougars 45-39. Well, the scoreboard should be smoking again this year, so join us next Saturday. That will be live at noon, Arkansas and Houston on HSE. This one is 13-10. I said Baylor retook the lead. This is the first lead the Bears have had. They had a chance to tie earlier, but did not get the extra point. And now they do have the lead. Ball blows off the kicking tee. The wind has been strong right to left the entire game. And any kind of a decent kickoff, and there isn't going to be any return. The people who want to return it are Shane Garrett, number 80, and number 14, Cornelius Patterson. Ireland's kick. And there will be no return on this one. Let's say that again. That'll come out to the 20 where the Aggies will have the football. They got to get something going offensively for their fans. The scoring drive for the Baylor Bears was a good one. 66 yards in just 6 plays. And the big pass, well, they called it a 33-yard pass to Miles. Is that 33 or 43? We had 43 originally from upstairs, but we'll say that it was a long pass.
And a touchdown. Took count 6 points.
Ball is at the 20-yard line. Nelson, Lewis rather, big hole, and he's got the first down. 32-yard line, 12-yard pickup for Lewis. Mike Welch with the tackle. He's already over 100 yards. He reached that early in this quarter.
Straight I formation play. Wilson the lead blocker. Watch Wilson make the block. Now, he does a nice job there. Stepping behind Mike Arthur. He cut back behind the block of Mike Arthur, who was trying to lead the play. He just cut back behind Arthur's block and picked up the big yardage.
First down. This is Wilson, and down goes Wilson right at the 30-yard line. Loss on the play. Lee Bruder, one of the first to get to him.
Now that's the first time they've run that play. A little bit of a counter action type play where they pulled the offside guard and the offside tackle. But Baylor did a good job of reading the play and reacting to it.
You know, a fellow that hasn't been in on very many tackles in this game is Curtis Hafford, the linebacker who #1 tackler on the team. Of course, he's playing the other side, and they're not running that way much. Number 99. Let's watch him. This time they go that way, but they go wide. And Lewis gets across the 35 to the 37 or 8-yard line. Welch and Hafford, as we speak, makes the tackle. Well, that time they went his side. 9.5 minutes to go. Clock running. Texas A&M trailing Baylor 13-10.
Down the line option play. Defensive end commits. Makes the pitch to Lewis. Now Lewis is looking for the block of offensive lineman number 67, Keith Alex. Tries to follow him to get what he can get.
Alex leads a big block. 285 pounders. Baylor with a 101-yard advantage. Quick pass complete and slipping and falling, but good enough for the first down, which was the initial need anyway. That was Tony Harrison, the 4.4 sprinter from Houston Forest Brook.
Tony's only a freshman. He'll learn to get those feet underneath him next time and run with the football.
Ball is right at the 45-yard line where it's first down. Baylor leading in that category as well. Lewis can't turn the corner, and Welch comes through and gets the first hit. You know, Mike Welch has had a super game, Ed, and we talked about him on the open about his interceptions, but passing has not been the story for the Aggies today, so Welch is just making a whole bunch of tackles.
Well, you're talking about a 6'2", 190-pound safety. And as I said, they compared him to Van McElroy. Now that's putting him in the real hitting category. He's our second leading tackler. He had 44 tackles coming into this game. He is our second leading tackler behind Hayford. Now watch him come across and make this play. Closing in on him, keeps him under control, overruns him a little bit, but he knows he's got help back to the inside.
And Lewis tripped up, dives forward. Looks like he left the ball behind him, but was already down. It's a pickup of maybe a yard. Lachey Maston, the backup linebacker, with the stop from Dallas Carter, sophomore. And it's going to be third and long, third and about 8.
I'll tell you one thing about this Baylor defense. You're talking about linebackers for 2 juniors and a sophomore, defensive ends, three juniors on the defensive line, sophomore, junior in the secondary. They got a lot of people coming back on this defensive football team next year.
Big third down here. Passing situation. Richardson drops, throws, and Oliver holds on to the football. Oh, my. Gary Oliver, the senior from Breckenridge, somehow held on to it.
Well, Gary Oliver, a walk-on football player who runs great routes and has great hands, shows you why they say he has great hands. Sideline pattern, watch him go up and concentrate and catch the ball, knowing he's going to get hit. Looked it all the way in, still knowing it as he goes down, catches it between his legs, but it doesn't hit the ground. Watch the ball slide down between his legs here at the end, kicks it back up and puts it in his arms. And shows the official, I got the ball.
First down.
Great shot.
Here's Lewis. He finds a hole as he cuts inside the outside block, and again, Maston, Welch in on the tackle. Lachey Maston, and also, well, let's see, Welch was in there, and Morgan, I guess. Daniel Morgan, number 10, seeing some time at linebacker. Second down and 6.
Aggies got a good drive going, Greg. The thing they've done now, a couple possession situations, they throw in short patterns to pick up the first down.
138 yards for Lewis. And he gets some more as he cuts inside the 35 to the 32. Mike Welch would get another tackle. You know, Welch, as I said briefly and didn't really finish the point in the first half, is headed for his 3rd straight 100 tackle season, and the only guy that's done that 3 years in a row for this school is Mike Singletary.
But Mike Singletary played that middle linebacker position. That's a little different position.
And he, well, I know, but 3 years in a row.
I meant that complimentary one.
That's right.
A player can do that and not be a linebacker. Usually your linebackers are your leading tackler.
Third down and 1. Singletary actually, I think, had 153 years in a row, but that's the difference. 3rd and 1. Wilson has it. got to the 30-yard line, and he needed to get past the 31. Robert Wilson. Reggie Howard. And Hafford. Well, Wilson on the short yardage situations is almost guaranteed. One of these guys doesn't need a whole lot of blocking because he's so strong himself. The Aggies moving, trying to get back in position to reclaim the lead. 5 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the third quarter. Baylor 13, Texas A&M 10. Lewis to the 23-yard line. Pick up of 7. Welch and Malcolm Frank on the tackle.
Well, that's that draw play where, as you talked about, Greg, that running back can take a good look at what's happening up front. He looked and looked and then decided to take it to the outside and picked up good yardage. There's the draw play. Now see him looking around, looking for daylight. Finally sees something to the outside. Takes it over there. Thought he was going to get tackled, lowered himself, and went forward for extra yardage. Now got 23 rushes for 150 yards.
Second down. Short 4. And a first down. Wilson. They're just grinding it out now. And Hafford, McFarland trying to help out at the end of the tackle. Aggie yell leader.
I just like facing a bull in the pasture, him coming through there like that. Watch him lower himself at the end here and go forward. See him lower, fight to get that extra yardage. That's a big key for a young running back that wants to see how someone gets extra yardage.
Now this is a situation where the Aggies in the past couple of games have made a mistake and thrown. They're just going to keep running it this time. They've learned their lesson, perhaps. This is Simmons down inside and inside all the way. Randy Simmons for the touchdown. Randy Simmons.
Take a look at him, and as I think earlier, he's going to be a great football player for the Aggies next year when he steps in and replaces Lewis. He does a lot of things. Look at that move there. Stopped, started, picked up his speed again. Watch the strength he has now to get it into the end zone, dragging a tackler in there. Simmons, the more experience he gets, the more he learns to use those blockers, the better he's going to get.
Junior from McKinney.
214-pounder. Now take another look at this. Watch him here. Now watch the different things that he does on this play. Now he spots the hole there. Now makes a little move going to the inside, makes a tackler miss. Now right down here, he makes stops, plants on the left foot, comes out to the right. Now he's going to show strength, taking a tackler right into the end zone with those legs turning.
What frustration that must be for the Mike McFarland, who was just carried in. Now Simmons has carried the ball twice for 22 yards, an 11-yard average. He came in averaging 7.3. That's his 5th touchdown of the year.
There's another
Not
good
a
block.
bad second string tailback. Huh?
Of course, again, another great block in there by Robert Wilson, Matt McCall. But look at the strength in his. He's just going to wrap your arm. He's going to carry for 4 or 5 extra yards.
McFarland not real big at 5'10", 169, but still he's dead weight. And Simmons just carried him in. We have a delay before the extra point. John Godfrey, the right tackle for Baylor, was shaken up. Now he's heading off the field.
And of course the Aggies will go for 1 in this situation, being 16-13, because the 1 will mean that Baylor has to score a touchdown to get ahead in the game, and field goal won't put them in a tie position.
So here's the extra point coming up. Lane Talbot will try it. 16-13 at the moment. Aggies going for 17 on this try. And they just get it through, and so with 4 minutes and 39 seconds to go in the third quarter, Texas A&M 17, Baylor 13. This telecast is authorized under rights granted to Home Sports Entertainment and is not intended for the commercial use of our viewing audience. Any reproduction or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of Home Sports Entertainment and Texas A&M University is prohibited.
Well, excellent, excellent, Greg.
Oh, thank you. The drive for the Aggies, which put them back on top.
Well, 13 plays, 80 yards. They used 6 minutes off the clock. Of course, Simmons on a 19-yard touchdown run puts them ahead. The thing right now about this ball game, you have to make each possession count. Baylor's only had the ball one time this half. They scored a touchdown. The Aggies only 2 possessions.
Tony Venetoulias will kick off for the second time and roll it out to about the 15-yard line. And Trooper Taylor gets it up across the 30 to the 31. Trooper Taylor has not been a big factor in this game, but he's averaged 21 yards on kickoff returns this year. Didn't get much of a chance there. That's one of the reasons Venetoulias, I think, rolled out. Another big crowd here at College Station, and the Aggie fans are happy at this point.
You like that name, don't you? Trooper Taylor.
Yeah, I do. Trooper Taylor. Just kind of. He's got a job in law enforcement just waiting for him after he graduates. J.J. Joe, like that one too, the quarterback for Baylor. Touchdown pass on the last opportunity. And the pitch outside and not much going. Good pursuit by the defense on Raphael. Williams was able to get to him and slow him down, and Crooms came up to slow things down.
Take a little job here that Greg Anderson, the wide receiver, did. Now that's a good, if they call a stock box. Stay with the guy. Don't try to work around him. Stay up in his face, and he goes back and gets him again. Now, that's the way the receiving coaches always teach their people to block. Just get out and get in front of the guy. Shadow him, let the back make his break off of your block.
Gain on that last play, perhaps along 2. It's second down. Fake, roll right. Pass back crossfield, deflected and incomplete. Almost. They almost came up with a real lucky play, Ed, because it was deflected and almost bounced into the area where the second receiver, Lee Miles, might have been able to get a hand on it. McKenzie couldn't hold it.
Yeah, it really did. The ball was drilled and almost tipped back to him. Plus the receiver coach at Baylor, Cotton Davison.
Green dog, 2-man. Green dog, green dog.
Green dog.
When it's a balance set, we'll still just play 2-man. They hurt us twice with a 5-step or 3-step because we're. Now what they're going to do in 3-step is throw the fight. Jam and run with him and challenge him. If he catches and tackles him, we're going to be putting deep. Okay?
Okay, what he said, when they're in a 2-set, like 2 receivers each side, you're playing man for man underneath with 2 safeties behind. You can see one of the defensive coaches giving adjustments over there. He said when you got 2 receivers on each side, we want you to be playing man-to-man. Jam them at the line of scrimmage and stay with them because you've got help behind them. Now when they go in a 3-receiver set, if they got 3 receivers to one other side, they're making another adjustment. That probably going into more of a zone coverage or playing some combination coverage to that side. Always during the course of the game, coaches are working.
They're always getting the word from up top as to what they see. And here's the remaining Baylor schedule. They'll be at TCU on the 27th. And they've got Arkansas at home on November 10th, at Rice on the 17th of November, and they wind up the season with another one of their big rivals, just about 70 miles down the road, the Texas Longhorns, November 24th. 70 or 80.
Well, they put one on Texas last year, didn't they? That
Baylor Bears sure did, and that's one that Texas is going to want to avenge. The Longhorns are trying to build themselves back up into a power.
Well, the Aggies, they don't have to go to Baylor now, to Waco to get the co-eds. They got it right here now for them.
Not anymore. Much more convenient. 17-13, the Aggies lead Baylor. Third down, 7. Miles in motion. Oh, in traffic. That was a dangerous play. It was incomplete. It was intended for Anderson, and he had 3 people right around him. 2 of them were Horton and Williams. And it's 4th down. Look at the gathering of people around the football.
Well, they were playing zone coverage and great reaction on the ball. 1 man deep there, of course, was Kevin Smith. 2 underneath people recovered right to the ball. Excellent job of zone play by the Aggies.
Only the second punt for Brenham. Offensive line movement apparently will move him back 5 yards.
Well, they had a lot of help from about 5 Aggies.
They said he did it. J.J. Joe talking to his coaches upstairs as to what they see in the defense.
Well, usually the offensive coordinator is upstairs there telling him what he's seeing and what they're doing. That's the first time today now that Aggies defense has held Baylor to 3 downs and a punt.
4th down and 12. And he just gets it away. No contact. High kick. Nice high kick and a fair catch called for at the 28-yard line. That was a fine punt, and it'll be Aggies football.
Well, that was a great punt. That had hang time of 4.3 seconds, Greg, and that gave the offensive lineman plenty of time to get down there to do that job.
And he had to ignore all this pressure to get it away because he had some pressure.
Take a look at his form here. Now watch the drop. Look at that perfect drop. Now look at the leg extension to get it up into the air. And like I said, I put the clock on it. It was 4.3 seconds of hang time. And your lineman will be down to cover that. Takes away the return. Maybe a big series right now for the Baylor defense. Aggies have just scored the last time they had the ball, and they can't afford to let them get out there too far ahead.
Richardson much more conservative with his work as a quarterback, using that man a lot. And that's Lewis as he gets across the 30 to the 32-yard line, maybe a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down.
Santana Dotson stayed at home over there, along with Mike McFarland, the defensive safety.
Help pinning it down. He's well over 140 yards now, Lewis.
Oh, he's over 150, I believe, Greg. We've got some stats here. Lewis's rushes for today. 24 for 153.
153 yards on 2nd down now. And give him a few more, maybe 2 or 3 more up to the 35-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 3.
And with that carry, Greg, he's now down underneath. Of course, he's got plenty of games to go, but he only needs 200 yards now to become the all-time rushing leader in Southwest Conference history. Came in this game needing 352, so he has over 152 now. Creeping up on Earl Campbell, who's number 2 with 4,443 yards, and number 1 is Eric Dickerson, 4,450 yards.
7 yards difference. It's 3rd down. And for the first time, Wilson isn't going to get it. They were sort of waiting for Robert Wilson, and Hafford, the linebacker, the junior from Jasper, was the first to make contact, and it'll be punt time for the Aggies.
Well, the Aggies came out in a passing formation. They had both backs split. Normally, you'd anticipate passes. Baylor well alert to the fact that they've run some draws out of this formation. See the split backs there? Normally, that's strictly a passing formation. Of course, you can see him coming down with the draw. Penetration missed a tackle, but he slowed him down enough for everyone else to recover.
Another low kick into the wind, and he gets that old Aggie roll. It's going inside the 30, down to the 25, 24, 23, and that's where it is killed. He's really used the wind very well. Sean Wilson gotten some good distance because he's made sure he's kept it low.
He kept it low, and he also has kept it away from the returners, which gives you a chance to get that bounce, so the ball will go down in. And that turned out to be a 43-yard punt into the wind, and that's a tough job to do. See, a low kick, if he gets it right where the safeties are at, it'll come back in your face because your people can't cover. But when he kicks away from the safeties, now you get the bounce and the roll. While the safeties are trying to get over to pick up the ball, the linemen are getting down there to cover.
Grant Taft and the Baylor Bears. They are trailing by 4 with 2:10 to go in period 3. 17-13 A&M. The give to Strait, and Strait gets across the 20. Fumble! The ball is loose, and it's the Aggies football. Larry Horton. Well, if the Aggies take advantage of this, this will turn out to be the break of the game because the field position is excellent.
Well, that's a big play turnover to give the Aggies the ball on the 28-yard line. Here it is. Let's see if we can see what causes the fumble. Going straight ahead. He's got a shoulder coming in from the outside. Looks like number 97 for the Aggies. Got that hand in there. Mark Wheeler. All it took. Mark Wheeler was a heavily recruited player. He's a junior.
San Marcos by way of Navarro Junior College, and now the turnover story, and more importantly, the Aggies with the ball on the 29. First down. Wilson tries left, cuts inside. 21-yard line. Good move for the big fella. Now remember, that's a good cut, particularly for a guy as big as he is. He's used to blocking a lot and going straight ahead for power moves. He's 245 pounds.
Well, they had 3 receivers out to the right side, and they're going to come with a counter play back to the left side. You can see the 67, Alex, and also Matt McCall pulling back across to the left side of that. Difficult play for McCall. His size almost a 300-pounder, pulling all the way across the ball to be a lead blocker.
Gain on that play of 8 yards, 2nd down and 2. Lewis inside the 15, down to the 11. First down, and Texas A&M rolling now. Mike Welch with the stop.
The big offensive line starting to take charge. And again, Lewis following the blockers, and see the offensive line. Look how far they got them. The Baylor white jerseys pushed back off the line of scrimmage.
A minute 24 left in period 3 as they move the chain.
And once again, Welch is making a tackle. When your safeties are making that many tackles, that means that they're making yardage running the football.
Yeah, particularly in a game where they're not throwing it. So he's not tackling pass receivers. 26 for 166 yards. Worked last time. Let's try it again. Lewis cuts inside, down inside the 10. Down to about the 8. Mike Welch again with the tackle.
Yeah, there's equipment. They're working on the sidelines. Looked like a helmet face mask came loose. That happens a lot. You can see him trying to get the little rivet out of there and replacing it. That's over on the Baylor sideline. Those pads are interchangeable. They'll pull off, and they're snap-on pads right around the cheeks and ears.
Second down. They get a first down if they get just inside the 2. Lewis again inside the 5. Hafford with the stop. It will be third down and a little more than a yard for a first down.
And that's a play, Greg, that really football has changed in the last 5, 6, 7 years. You never see a team run the ball from a draw situation inside the 10-yard line. Now you see that play called quite frequently, and teams have a lot of success running the draw inside the 10-yard line.
Ball is spotted at the 4. They need 2.
That's going to be the last play of this third quarter.
And they'll have to move it all the way down to the other end of the field, which makes some of the fans in the stands happy, because they'll get to see it better. The others a little disappointed. We will be back with the fourth quarter of play. The Aggies leading Baylor 17-13. The Aggies threatening to add 7 more. We'll see if they do when we come back. Our score here, the Aggies lead the Bears 17-13 in the fourth quarter, just getting underway. And if you haven't had enough football this weekend, you're either sick or something. But if you haven't had enough, then tune in to HSC for more action tomorrow. We've got more, actually some good ones too. At 12 noon, we'll bring you the delayed broadcast from Lincoln, Nebraska, when the 4th-ranked Cornhuskers host Oklahoma State. That'll be a big one. After that game, we'll bring you a Pac-10 battle between Arizona State and Oregon. Then following the R.C. Slocum show, we'll have an SEC contest between LSU and Kentucky. Great college football action tomorrow on HSE. Makes you dizzy, doesn't it, looking at that?
No, I just sway in time with that. He's rolled back and forth with, so then I don't get dizzy, right?
Ed's up here trying to, it doesn't make him dizzy because he's in line with half of them.
Look at that.
This is in the third quarter.
Well, that tells a tale right there. Keep the football away from your opponent. They have a hard time scoring.
Sharp in motion. Here's Lewis, and they were waiting for him. And guess who made the tackle? One guess, number 30, and his name is Mike Welch.
Well, I thought that was an unusual call. Greg, they've been making great yardage running straight ahead. Now they got to try to run a sweep to the outside. Our pitch to get to the outside, and Baylor reacted well and played it well. He's in the backfield before they even made the pitch. Lewis didn't have a chance.
That's kind of like in baseball, just guessing with the pitch, guessing fastball. They were guessing Lewis, and they guessed right. Now they're going to try to field goal. It could be a big guess.
Well,
depending on what Baylor does.
Well, because actually Baylor now, if they make this field goal, they can score a touchdown and go for 2-point conversion. Still have a chance to go ahead.
And a field goal is good, so the Aggies add 3 to their lead, but they could have had maybe 7. I know they'd like 7. It is Texas A&M 20, Baylor 13. Just underway here in the fourth quarter. 20-13 with 14-17 to play. That is something, you know, going back, Ed, that I guess you could draw the correlation with football and baseball in the sense that there are times where a particular player just says, it's going to this guy, I'm going for him. And that's what he did. And obviously, if they had gone another direction, Welch would have been out of position to make the play. But he figured they'd been running Lewis 4 times in a row.
Well, my calculated guess is that they probably had a safety blitz down there in that situation coming from the outside. I don't think they anticipated Lewis running the ball to the outside. I would think, if anything, they anticipate Lewis running the ball inside or possibly a play-action pass, which the Aggies have done down in that situation. But with Welch coming from the outside in the blitz, he ran right into where the ball was tossed to Lewis going to the outside.
And we will wait for the kickoff. The Aggie 12th man team has had no problems this week, in large measure because the kickers have been kicking the ball into the end zone, particularly on the left side as you view the screen. So while Trooper Taylor is at the top of the screen and the near man is Reggie Miller, chances are they aren't going to have a chance to run this back.
Well, the Aggies with the wind this fourth quarter.
Wind blows the ball off. Bucky Richardson for the Aggies has gone all the way at quarterback and has not had the numbers passing that he did last week against Houston, but that probably has been good. In fact, it has been good because the Aggies have not made the mistakes. Well, Trooper's going to try it. And that's why. Trooper Taylor across to the 30-yard line. That's why he averages over 21 yards per return, because he got him 10 yards that he wouldn't have gotten if he played the conservative route.
Well, here, take a shot at the return. You can see the blocking in front of him set up. They're trying to get angle blocks coming from the outside in here, from the right into the left, looking for give daylight to Trooper. Once he spots that daylight, picked up the extra 10 yards on the play. Finally tackled in there by number 39.
I want to say that was Horton. I want to say something about Trooper when we have a chance if this play completes, because he's an interesting story. He's got bloodlines that go into football way back and way around. Here's the pitch out to number 5, David Mims, and he can't turn the corner. He only gets about a yard as he tries to go left. Trooper Taylor, who is a backup safety and also the man we saw return that kick, is a cousin of Robert Strait. He's also related to Garland Littles, a TCU defensive back, Raymond Thomas, a Texas A&I defensive back, Abby Barnett, a Sam Houston State defensive back, Irvin Thomas, a Southwest Texas State linebacker, and Arthur Whittington, a former SMU All-SWC player and an Oakland Raider. Why is that? Well, he's got 14 brothers and sisters. Everybody's related.
Follow that family.
Whoa. 2nd down and 8. Whoa, Joe made a good first spin. The second spin met a lot of resistance. Marcus Buckley.
Well, you can make a lot of people miss when you make that spin move, but sometimes if someone else is coming when you make that spin move, and this is one of those times. See, Thomas has got responsible for the outside. Now he comes back in on the spin. Boom, right there coming across. They're all head hunting when you make that spin move back to the inside, trying to make you fumble the ball, strip you of the football.
3rd down. 6. Everyone's covered, so Joe's going to run it, and Joe is going to have the first down across the 40-yard line to the 42. William Thomas and Quentin Coriat, the linebackers, had to come up and make the stop.
Well, that was a great individual play by Joe. The secondary of Aggies had done a good job, and they needed his first down badly. He's still looking to unload it downfield. Now he realizes no one's open. He's got to make a move, cuts back inside, forces Thomas to miss enough that he can pick up the first down.
They've got the ball now. They actually spotted it near the 44.
But the other thing from Thomas' standpoint, when you're on the open field like that, you have to get down, get yourself under control. You can't try to make the hard tackle there. Just try to stop him so he doesn't go for a real long gainer.
Mims is the tailback with Loeb the fullback. And Joe gives it to Loeb, and Loeb struggles forward across the 45-yard line to just about the 47. It'll be 2nd down. Eric England and John Miller in on the stop, and so it'll be 2nd down.
Well, Greg, the Aggies were kind of fooling around a little bit with a cornerback blitz with Kevin Smith. And if they do that, the safety is going to have to get over here to the left side. If they continue to do that, watch for Baylor to try to complete that same pass they did early in the ball game where Stutzman went straight down the sideline and he picked up a 40-yard gainer.
They've also got both Eric England and John Miller in the game at the same time. They are both actually nose guards. Normally England backs up Miller, but they're both in there now. England is playing tackle, and Miller is the nose guard. It's 2nd down and 7. Mims cuts outside. There's that speed, and he's got the first down across to the 40-yard line. Anthony Williams with the tackle. The Bears are on the roll. David Mims, a sophomore from Dangerfield.
Well, they just keep alternating those backs and putting it in. And again, this is a deep draw where he's looking for daylight. Finally sees nothing inside, takes it to the outside, and you can see the speed that he has. Williams had to come all the way from the left side over there to make that tackle.
First down at the 41-yard line, 11:28 to play. Texas A&M 20-13. The pitch to Raphael, and Raphael has another first down. And they're alternating those running backs, as you said. They're all working pretty well. Larry Horton finally with the tackle.
Well, you look at their stats, Raphael, Michael Moore, David Mims, and of course, David Loeb, who hasn't carried much today, but this is a late delayed pitch here. Joe does a great job waiting till right at the end to make that pitch with the left hand. He seems to push it out there with the left hand. And then Raphael, of course, runs north and south right towards the goal line to pick up what he needed for the first down.
Raphael is the nominal starter on the team, but you can't really say he's any more of a regular than the other two. Their yardage totals for the year are very close. And not much on the give inside this time to Straight England making the stop along with Williams. And only maybe, well, where they finally put the ball down, maybe nothing on the play. Let's see. That'll give him maybe a yard. We'll call it 2. Second down and 8. Raphael up the middle. Raphael to the 25 to the 24-yard line. He'll be short of the first down by about 3 yards, but it'll be third. Chris Crooms with the stop.
And they're doing a good job now, the offensive line. Now take a look at the lead block coming in here. The lead blocker right there extends and gets into it. That's what makes the play. Raphael cuts back off that block. Baylor offensive line right now again coming back to take control of the line of scrimmage. Early in the ball game they were doing this at the line of scrimmage, slacked off a little bit. Now they're coming back strong.
They're in 2 down territory here, so that's not crucial, but they want to make sure they don't lose any yardage. The give to the lead back is not going to be enough. That was John Henry. John Miller bringing him down. John Henry's carried the ball a couple of times, but not much in this game. He's been in a few plays.
Now look at the line surge, which is important, but excellent job in there by the defensive lineman. Stop it. Now here's we talk about a key play. 4th down. 2 yards to go. 9:25 to go in the 4th quarter. Got to be an option, doesn't it, Greg?
I bet Robert Strait carries it. He's the man that's in at fullback. Fake to Robert Strait. That's what everybody thought. Joe has very close to the first down.
I didn't think that. I thought he's going to run the option just that he ran.
I guess you're right.
Make that fake inside. Give him the option to either pitch the ball or keep it. First down. Good call.
And he got the first down. Well, see, they figured all those Aggie guys would be thinking the same thing that the announcer was, that Strait's always carried it on the short yardage, so we faked to him.
Well, he did a good job of faking the ball into straight inside there, and they turned up, and he knew just exactly what he needed, and that's about all that he got on the play.
He didn't get anything more than exactly what he needed. First down at the 20. Pitch outside. This is Moore, and Moore runs out of bounds, runs near out of bounds. He's stopped about the 10-yard line. That's close to another first down. Larry Horton with the stop.
Well, that's the first time they ran that play. That was a quick pitch into the short sideline. Got the Aggies a little bit by surprise. They went on a quick count, and well, it's close to a first down. They're measuring. They're looking at it over in the sideline. They got to bring the change in about a foot to see whether it's a first down. Look at this. The chains are right alongside the ball over there, and they almost wanted to bring them in.
Second and inches.
Well, this has got to be close to the first down, but from Baylor's standpoint, probably the best thing that could happen, because if they can pick up 2 or 3 and make the first down, that's better than 1st and 10 on that 10-yard line.
McKenzie in motion. Sets up on the left side. There's Moore. He's got the first down to the 5. Touchdown, Moore!
got a tough decision. Go for 1 or 2.
Too early. I think you got to. I think it's still too early. You got to kick the extra point.
Again, they put the power sweep into the short sideline. Boy, he spots that goal line. Look at him dive. He took off at about the 4-yard line to get it all the way into the end zone. Just turned, pitched the ball to Moore. Quick pitch out there. See the lead block. Good block downfield there. Now he takes off and gets it into the end zone. He smelled that goal line.
They are going to go for 1. The feeling being they've got 8.5 minutes left just about. And they just barely got it through. I'll tell you what, the Aggies are putting great pressure on the extra points. They blocked 1 and almost got that one. But our score is tied. 8 minutes and 23 seconds to play at Kyle Field. Texas A&M 20, Baylor 20. The key to the extra point going for 1, I'd have to think, Ed, is that time in the lower right portion of the screen.
Oh, I don't think there's any question that 20-20 ball game with 8 minutes to go. And one key thing here is happening right now. Baylor is averaging better than 5.5 yards per rushing play. Of course, this is a touchdown. You see him turn and make the pitch. The lead block right there, but number 23, Robert Strait, does a good job. A couple of receivers downfield, just getting in the way of people. That's all you have to do. Number 1, you can see Lee Miles just got in front of one of those defensive backs, and he excited.
And a drive was another good one. We've had some good scoring drives in the second half after a drought in the first half.
Yeah. 12 plays, 69 yards. He used almost 6 minutes off the clock. Of course, Moore scored on that 10-yard run.
Remember, the kickoff will have to go into the wind. Cornelius Patterson and Shane Garrett back to return it, so they'll try to kick it low, and it's picked up by Garrett. And Garrett is dropped at the 30-yard line. Decent field position at the 30, and Tim Spencer was guy that got to him, and we're all set now for the first down play for Texas A&M.
Yeah, and that wind could be a factor now as we get down towards the end of this ball game. Greg, we've got 8:17 to go. The Aggies have the wind, and that allowed Talbot to kick, of course, a 59-yard field goal. And that 59-yard field goal was the longest field goal of Southwest Conference since 1983 when one was kicked back then.
And those were the years when you could use a tee, so in a lot of respects, that's the most incredible field goal kick for years. I mean, even way before that. Can't use the tee as Lewis tries to go right up the middle, and there's no room for him this time. A gain of maybe a yard as he stacked up by the center of that defensive unit. Marcus Lowe got down low. Lee Bruder came in from his linebacker spot. Everyone helped out. Second down, 9.
Well, got a possible Cotton Bowl spot resting in the last 7 minutes of this game for one of these two teams.
Richardson option Lewis. Lewis cuts up, but he only gains a couple of yards, getting him around. Hafford got to him, knocked him a little bit, and then Frank closed it off. Malcolm Frank is a story. Frank was a second-team All-Southwest Conference. And on what they called almost a mistake-free season last year. We're talking about Frank, the corner for Baylor. But he's recovering from an ankle problem, which has hampered him this year, and it's been a little slow coming around.
We're out of Beaumont Central High School.
Third down. Richardson's going to try to throw. Now he's in a little trouble. He's got 3 people chasing him. Throws it away, and it's incomplete. He wisely threw it away all the way. I mean, he wasn't trying to make chopped liver out of chicken soup there. He just made sure that was out of bounds.
Well, he saved a big loss on this play as he comes out scrambling. Thinks he might be able to turn and go back to the other side and get open. Now he realizes he can't. Trying to buy time now to just get rid of the ball to keep him getting sacked way back in there.
Didn't help him from getting dumped, but now Sean Wilson will punt. Now he's done a great job punting against the wind. Last 2 punts both been 43 yards into the wind. Now he's got the wind at his back. So he'll get this one a lot higher and a lot deeper, and look at that one. And he gets an Aggie bounce out of bounds inside the 10. What a punting job for Sean Wilson.
The 60-yard
punt, and we'll be back with the play. Baylor starts the offensive drive in just a moment. Earlier today, of course, some of the games that we'll take a look at on the Bud scoreboard at the end of this play. First of all, let's take a look at the first play as the ball pushed back inside at about the 11, or rather the 6-yard line as a result of that 60-yard punt. And a second effort by Joe gets it out to the 10. Let's quickly take a look at the Bud scoreboard. Jason Black with the tackle. The Budweiser scoreboard. Texas rolling over Arkansas 49-17. Rice rolling over Tech 35-14. And Houston rolling over SMU 44-14. This was the close game in the conference. And you're here. Virginia over Wake Forest. Big. Georgia Tech and North Carolina. There's a tie. And Iowa squeezing by Michigan. Boy, Michigan's played some tough games this year. The Budweiser scoreboard brought to you by Budweiser. As the pitch goes back to Raphael, and he gets up to about the 14-yard line. Quentin Coriat with the tackle. Third down, and they'll need about 2 or 3.
Well, what a key third down play this is going to be now. Baylor doesn't make this first down. They'll be punting against the wind. And that would certainly give the Aggies field position almost near the middle of the field with that great punt. Should they be able to pick it up, they'll continue to eat more time off the field and continue to keep this drive alive. Might be the key play of the game right now, Craig.
That is all the time left. .5:45 to play. Third down and 2. Joe on the keep. He has got the first down. He stays on his feet across the 20-yard line to the 22. Woo-hoo. He's come through with some big running plays from his quarterback position.
Well, he really has. I tell you, he's really not acting like a freshman quarterback. The poise that he's showing here. Now he realizes he's got the first down, and he says, hey, maybe we make a big play out of this. Tries to get to the outside. I'm sure if he gets out in front, they're not going to catch him from behind.
You know, the reason he is the quarterback is because Brad Gable suffered a broken hand. One of several broken bones on this Baylor team. We'll talk about that in a minute after this first down play. The speedy David Mims, and Mims gets up near the 30-yard line. It'll be second down. 6 players on this club have suffered broken bones. Brad Gable a broken hand, John Turnpaw a broken hand, Matt Gant a broken hand, Frankie Smith a broken hand, Robbie Burleson a broken foot, David Frost a broken arm. To the point, Grant Teaff was seriously considering adding calcium supplements to the Bears training regimen. He felt that was too many broken bones.
Seems like it runs in streaks, injuries with different teams.
I saw Pavlis warming up on the sideline. They may need to throw the ball. They haven't done it yet. And Joe on the keep again, spins forward. He's got another first down.
Well, right now the Baylor bench over there is smelling the upset win here. They realize they're now down underneath 5 minutes, and they have the football. But they can put points on the board. A good opportunity for them to get a great upset.
Remember, though, they have a definite weather disadvantage. They are going to probably have to score a touchdown or get within the 10 because the wind is really in the face of the kicker, number 1. And number 2, even if they get in that close, it's no guarantee because the Aggies are getting through on kicks pretty well.
Just remember, in rivalries, players rise above their potential.
No, that's true. Trying to cut outside more, and he gets down to about the 38-yard line. William Thomas with the tackle.
Run the power sweep right into you. See the lead fullback leading the play. And Morrissey's in trouble, goes right straight ahead, and he breaks tackles. When they're straightening out, when they're going north and south, they are breaking Aggie tackles a lot of times today. That's why they're averaging better than 5 yards a carry running the ball.
Well, with the shuttle system that is being used with the Moore and Raphael and Mims, they've always got a fresh running back to tote that pigskin. David Loeb is in the fullback spot. Fumble! And the Aggies have it. Quentin Coriat.
Let's take a look at it. See what caused the fumble. Never got the ball. He looked ahead. He didn't get that ball into his hand. He was looking where he wanted to make the cut. The ball was just a little bit low. Didn't quite put it into his numbers where he's coached to do it. Hit it on the hip. Back never got control of it.
Now the Aggies, all odds in their favor. But they could use at least one first down. And wow, a hard hit on Lewis. Hafford held him up, and then he was hit hard after he picked up a couple of yards. Welch came in and just laid the helmet to him. In fact, Welch is wrestling for the football.
I can see why they compare him to Vance McElroy. That's exactly what McElroy was when he was at Baylor. A hard-hitting Boy, watch him come in and put lay the leather to him. Right. Watch 30 come and hit him right. There's someone standing up. Now watch. Oh, there he comes in, puts the shoulder pad right into that shoulder pad helmet area.
Gain of almost 4. It's second down. Lewis again, nothing going. Tripped up underneath. Coming up was Greg Effinger, the San Antonio Churchill senior. Got him low, and it'll be third down. Now R.C. Slocum says, come on, guys, get a first down here. I don't want to have to kick a field goal from this far.
R.C.'s yelling something at the official about something or other. Somebody's not happy with what the official's doing.
It is third down and 5.
Well, this would be a 47-yard field goal from this distance.
Lewis again, and he stopped short. That was Lee Bruder, the linebacker.
Well, he got it down inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line. So it'll be a 39 with 7, 46-yard field goal is what this attempt will be.
And he's also straight in the middle of the field, so he has no angle problems. Less than 2 minutes to play. He has kicked a 49-yarder already.
59-yarder.
59-yarder, I should say, already. Lane Talbot. And he missed it to the left. Oh, my. The Baylor Bears dodged one, but they lost a lot of time off the clock, and we are looking more and more like a tie score.
Well, we got 1:39 to go in the game. They've got one last shot. And, of course, the timeout, say the timeout. Baylor has only one timeout. A&M has 3. Now Grant Teff has got a lot of thoughts going in his mind in there.
The problem now with Baylor is because they've abandoned what was more of a pro-style passing attack that they had in years past. Now's when they could use it because they run the veer, and they're going to have to do some time-consuming or time-saving plays if they're going to get it all the way down the field. Either that or hit on a big one.
Well, Joe has thrown 3 interceptions so far this year. And that has to be going through their coaching staff mind over there. A little bit of inexperience.
We'd like to thank Texas A&M Sports Information Director Alan Cannon, Associate A.D. Wally Groff, and the entire athletic department here at Texas A&M for their help and support in preparing for today's telecast. Also thanks to Philip Hollingsworth and Wayne Pacina at KAMU-TV and John Morris at KWXT-TV in Waco for their support this week. Thank you, gentlemen. Of course, thank you for the folks at Baylor. The information that we use to help give you as much correct information as possible. There's Joe on the keep, and he gets up to the 32-yard line. A gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7, 1:30, and the clock ticks.
Well, the Aggies are going to use their timeouts now, I think, to try to get the ball back one more time, especially when they don't make any long gainers. That's the Aggies' first timeout.
Baylor is 2-1 in conference play, and the Aggies are 1-1. The problem is, if anyone goes unbeaten, and there you see the total yard story, Baylor just has dominated the totals, the score, the statistical story, I should say, but not the scoreboard. They tied at 20.
Well, the problem that you get right now from that standpoint
is there are a couple things that, there are a couple things these teams need if they tie.
TCU and Texas both are undefeated in the conference at this point.
They both have to hope Houston can take care of both of them. And then they also have to hope that they can take care of both of them, which is still possible, certainly, because they have the games left.
I know one thing, a tie isn't going to do either one of these teams much good in the conference race.
Well, it's going to make it more difficult. 2nd down and 8. Rafael cuts back to the center of the field. He's up to the 40-yard line. He has enough for the first down. He had to run about 20 yards to get 8, but he got him. Larry Horton with the stop. Clock stops while they move the chain.
Well, both teams have had great success with this delayed draw, looking for way back deep, looking for daylight. You see him there. He starts to the left, sees the daylight way out to his right, then does an excellent job. Now, these backs have remained very fresh by playing Raphael and Moore and Mims and Strait. They really have kept those backs fresh in there.
Raphael with 74 yards, and he's really played part-time. Going to try it again. And he gets across to the 47-yard line, but less than a minute to play. This one, really, Ed, I don't know. I don't know how they can possibly. They're running the football.
Well, it could come down to this, but it's an awful long way for him to get. The thing that's happening right now, the Aggies are missing that first tackle. They're trying to strip the football. They're trying to reach that hand in there and force a fumble, knowing that that's what they badly need now.
And they run it again. This time he's got room to get out of bounds, and
No, he didn't get out.
Doesn't get out, but he got the first down, so they'll stop the clock for that. Larry Horton with the tackle. Well, they're running the ball extremely well, but there's not enough time to keep running it down the field with 33 seconds left.
Yeah, I would think, Greg, that he has to get at least down to the 20-yard line to give him maybe a 37-yard attempt. If he doesn't get to the 20, I don't know that's going to be an awful long.
Well, the wind was 16 miles an hour in the kicker's face at game time, and it doesn't look like it's any less. Quick pass, and now he steps out of bounds, but he also has another first down. That stops the clock anyway, and they are moving it with 19 seconds left.
Well, that was executed very well. They made a little fake and came up and threw the ball to Bonner on the outside. Now the Aggies are fearful that they may get beaten this football game.
That's only the fourth reception for Bonner this year.
Good job with it. Picked up the first down. Now they're down to the 33-yard line. Another first down, and they're going to have a shot at the field goal, and even they got some time. Now remember, Baylor has one timeout left. Baylor, the stats are going to be in Baylor's favor throughout this football game.
Lee Miles wide to the top of the screen on the draw. There's a flag down. The flag down will stop the clock. 15 seconds to play. And it may be against the Aggies. At least that's what Baylor.
No, I think it's a motion. This against the Bears. It's a motion penalty in their backfield.
Yeah, they were wishfully thinking. They were pointing the other direction, saying, yeah, it's against them.
And I think at this point, the Aggies have to accept the penalty. They can't wait for the downs, hoping they'd get the ball back. The key for them now is not to lose this football game. They look like they have much of a chance to win it. This will push the ball back 5 more yards and make it 1st and 15, which is relatively unimportant with 15 seconds. They got about time for 1 or 2 more plays.
Still first down.
They got time for 1 or 2 more plays before they have to make the decision to go for the field goal.
I think it's almost time for them to pull out that secret pass play they've got, because
they need 20 yards for that field goal attempt.
Yeah. The wideouts are Anderson and Miles at the top of the screen. Here comes the pass. No, he is stacked behind the line of scrimmage, and the ball game is over. The clock expires, and it's all over.
Well, the clock started when they moved the chains and made the first down.
So that was the last play, and it ends up in one of those kiss your sister games. The 9th tie in the series between these two teams. The final score, Baylor 20, Texas A&M 20. And it was by far the best game in the Southwest Conference this week. Everyone else had one-sided affairs, and we're certainly glad you were able to be with us. Even though Aggie fans are disappointed, Baylor fans are disappointed, but I guess it could have been worse. We'll be back with some wrap-up of this one in just a moment. Well, it ended where it started, except 40 points were scored in the middle. The Baylor Bears and the Texas A&M Aggies even Steven when it was all over. 20-20 the final score from Kyle Field. Congratulations to Darren Lewis from Rosarita Refried Beans, today's sponsor of the Hot Player of the Game. For great Mexican meals, remember, it all begins with Rosarita Refried Beans. And what did he do? Well, you saw his 23rd 100-plus yard rushing game, totaled 179 yards on 34 carries, and he tried his best, but the Aggies couldn't get in the scorebook often enough or with enough scores. But he had an outstanding game once again, Ed Biles. Darren Lewis, our player of the game.
Well, he really had an outstanding football game, Greg. But, you know, 20-20 tie. Both teams are going to be so unhappy about this ball game. Both of them needed to win, and the way it came down, the tie probably hurts both of them from the Southwest Conference standpoint. A lot of good things. A lot of things are going to be questionable ideas about go for 2, not go for 2. I think, no question, Grant Teff made the right decision at that time to go for the 1-point conversion. It was 8.5 minutes to go in the game. Aggies had a chance late, weren't able to move the ball. Some good defense, 59-yard field goal. But again, a tie just leaves everybody with an empty feeling.
Yeah, at the end of the game, of course, the clock was a factor. It ran out. Grant Taff on the sideline saying, get up there, because as soon as they put the ball down, they're going to start clicking it off, and they didn't get up quickly enough, and that last play was going to be the last play.
Well, I'm sure that Grant was unhappy the fact that they didn't get a chance to kick a field goal or make another play, but basically, he was the underdog. His team really started slow. They had some problems up there, of course, with the death of the one young football player, and I think his football team is rising. I think they're showing improvement from week to week as time goes on, so I think if anybody's happy with the tie, it's probably Baylor. Obviously, A&M with their preseason expectations right now, they can't be happy at all with the way the season is going.
I think you're right. I think that is probably the team that is the most disappointed, the direction the trend has gone over the last few weeks. Baylor has to be happy with the overall trend. And we've still got a lot of football left. As you saw in the Southwest Conference scores we had earlier, this was the only game that was really close. There were some big wins by some teams. Texas had the big win over Arkansas. Arkansas, I guess, is the other team that is in a disappointing situation, and we'll talk a little bit more about them because we've got them next week. But we'll take a break and return to Kyle Field. Our final score here, 20-20. As the crowd files out, they saw a tie between Baylor and Texas A&M. Our final score again in this ball game, the Baylor Bears and the Texas Aggies play to a 20-20 tie. Ed Biles next week. It is the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Houston Cougars. Houston wanting revenge for one of their 2 defeats last year. Arkansas just needs a win after their big loss once again, this time to Texas this week.
Well, of course, Houston would love to go undefeated, and that's where they're at this stage.